Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very special show that I'm doing with some friends of mine. I'm ZodWriter, and with me I got KonsoleFanboy OTG and Mr. Mensa, aka Messiah. This is the first time I've ever had Messiah on the channel, so I'm kind of excited because Messiah is pretty cool. He does a lot of great home arcade, satirical type stuff with a bunch of truth injected into it, and it's wonderful. And you guys should check him out. I'll have a link in the description to Messiah's channel after the show. I'll go in and edit it and put it in there. You guys, I'm so glad everybody could be here for this essentially iRkade memorial show because
Zod, you have the iRkade logo on my screen. I don't want to be associated with iRkade. That's okay. I'm all right. I'm just joking. It's fine.
I have to say, I have to just briefly give my thoughts a little bit about iRkade as a whole. I'm a big MVSX fan, by the way. I love, but I'm a home arcade enthusiast. And a lot of people don't realize this because my content is always about movies and things of that nature. I don't really do as much in the home arcade community as I wish I had time to do, but you guys really kill it with your stuff, especially you, OTG, and you, KonsoleFanboy. KonsoleFanboy, you're freaking hilarious. Your content is amazing.
Thanks,
and OTG, everything you say, man, I get glued to every one of your videos, even if I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'll sit there and get involved, and by the end of it, I'll have this deep, almost illuminating understanding of what's going on, and I'll be like, okay, cool, I agree with OTG. but you know what? For me, I had kind of a love-hate relationship with the iRkade because at the time I was trying to decide whether or not to buy an iRkade or to buy an At Games Legends Ultimate. And I was torn between the two because I liked the idea of iRkade because the idea of adding legal games to your console and essentially being able to support developers. So that was the draw to me. I wanted At Games because I thought, man, you can do everything. You can add your console, you can stream stuff. I mean, I was excited, but I live in a small apartment. I don't have a lot of room for every arcade. I already have too many arcades in my apartment, more than I should. So for me, it was about, I want to get something else that I know I'm going to use. And I ended up, I kind of fell in love with the aspect of it being all about the community. And I loved, Yong and Michael and the way that they just reached out to everyone and tried to make it personal, tried to personally involve you as not just a fan, but as Yong likes to say, he likes to treat everybody like family. So it's sort of, it has that, attachment that I'm sure KonsoleFanboy can attest to, where I'm going with this, the whole idea of feeling like you're a part of something and then getting to a point where you almost like some of these, like the iRcadians, where they feel like they have to justify their love for the product because the product keeps disappointing people on a regular basis. And that's really what the problem was for me. Like once I got into it and I started to see what we were dealing with, and they're fully capable of putting Mutant Football League on the cabinet, but they give us 10-yard fight. It's sort of like you're teasing your customers with the idea it's almost like religion in a way. Religion is always promising you that something better is there for you on the other side when you die, but you don't really know because you're not dead, you're alive. So you have to base everything on faith. And I kind of feel like iRkade was doing the same thing. Like, they should have had Streets of Rage 4 or Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. They should have had those games.
Zod, they're never going to get good games. They were never going to get good
Yeah,
games
yeah.
because the whole point was because they had yes men hyping the living shit out of every single shovelware mobile game that ever came out, and that's the problem. They didn't listen to all the feedback. They just listened to the Brad Waters, the Nixes, all the, you know, like I said, the yes hype men shilling it, and it came to a point it just became a joke. Like, you're shilling Load Runner for the 11th time this week. It's ridiculous. Like, that's why they didn't get the game.
When
my
I
opinion.
saw your video, okay, Console Fanboy, when I saw your video where you were kind of parodying the whole game store, and I
was trying to help.
You were trying to help them, essentially.
That's my way of helping them.
Right. You were trying to show them, because you and I have had this conversation numerous times about how they should have Dreamcast games. They should be, you know, promoting stuff like Naomi and that type of thing, because they've got the hardware to run the stuff. They should be doing that. Instead, they're not. And when you did your parody, I think it was like around the holidays, you did your song, you know, you know, that was kind of a riff on It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas.
I was trying to help them.
It was absolutely brilliant, because that's when it really kicked in for me. Honestly, at that moment when I watched that video, that things were never going to change, that no matter what, this was the path they were on. And for whatever reason, these are the only licenses that they're going to be able to acquire. They're not going to be able to get anything better. The fact that they have Mayhem Brawler on that system is a straight up miracle. Dead Cells, I don't know how they got that.
Well, it's a 4-year-old game from Switch.
Yeah.
It's a 5-year-old game now.
Well, and that's another great point that you made. If you have a Switch, you don't really need an iRkade.
But they actually made it for the iRkade, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It is actually a definitive version.
I'm sitting here saying to myself that I just want the iRkade to succeed, because I see the potential of the console. And Console Fanboy, for all of your parodies and videos you did it more out of love than hate, because you wanted to see them succeed. You wanted to see them.
I bought it 4 times. I mean, I bought the goddamn thing 4 fucking times. I mean,
right. And I swear to God, when you got your, you know, Back to the Future skin for the arcade, I thought you were gonna I thought you were gonna keep it. I didn't think that was going anywhere. No, but that looked awesome.
I got a little different perspective, because when I came in a little late. I came in during that first sale that they hit at $2.99, but I got in early because they announced, I think, for $3.99. So I went ahead and jumped on that real fast, got the cabinet, and I noticed right away during that time there was promises of the UI being changed. I saw a bunch of streams from Michael straight from the company with these promises. I'm like, all right, this is a new device I have. It looks like they're moving forward, and it seemed like there was potential there at that time. But it only took a little bit before you notice groups like the iRcadians that couldn't take criticism, especially on a game. When it comes to just games, you couldn't take criticism on the company. Also, you're just a hater. So you start seeing that there was no path for development. Like it was like, as far as growing as a company, like the company was going nowhere. They were listening to this small community, and this small community couldn't take criticism that people wanted the company to grow. They wanted those bigger titles, whether they could get them or not. The company could not take the criticism. They always had the back of these small little YouTubers. And how do you expect to grow? And after a while, seeing these games just being horrible games, one after another, and noticing the false promises, just started making it break apart. Started realizing that the dream, the reality was not there. So that's the way I took it. And it's like what Console Fanboy said, a bunch of yes men. That's it. Like it was like a mini cult. It's so weird, man.
And what really, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what really the real downfall, I believe, is when I made fun of the games, and I was trying to help by making fun of the games, making fun of the products. Brad and Jeff and all their cronies got really upset. We were making fun of their precious toy, and they just could not handle it. They could not have the level of emotional intelligence to handle some negative feedback. So that's when all the attacks happen. Oh, you're making fun of my iRkade toy, my games? Well, fuck you. Watch this. And that's where all this came. And that's a bad representation of iRkade. When
I just want to add one thing to it. I see what Mr. Encoder says. It's like when I called the cabinet ugly and the UI ugly. That was criticism I felt like they couldn't take, and it was one, not from me specifically, but from from the fans that it was ugly. The fact that they designed a gold cabinet for $1,000 and it was like a one-time run, only so many people got it. I felt like that buried them so far under that has to be a big portion of why the company failed, because they paid attention to that criticism instead of just going with it, what they had financially. They weren't ready for that. That's how I feel. Because what was the point of the gold cabinet? $1,000 cabinet that did nothing for them. It's like it was a waste of time and development and resources, man. It just, I don't know, man. What was wrong with them?
I think Toxin wants to join, but only voice. So I sent the link, if that's okay, in the chat.
For me, it wasn't about.
Okay, go ahead.
It was wasn't the message. It was the messenger. You know, if the same person said it, someone else said it, they'll go, "Oh, you're so right. You're so fucking right." If Zohar said it, OTG said it, UAG said it, I said it. The unsolicited hate was ridiculous, and then the other person can go ahead and say it, and they'll get praises. They only wanted to listen to who they only wanted to listen to, and those are just the facts. I got the receipts.
That's absolutely unfortunate, and I'm glad to say we have with us Mr. Encoder. How are you? I think Mr. Encoder is here, but anyway, yeah, I can hear you.
KonsoleFanboy, do you have one?
I had 4, and I gave them all back because they lied. They lied on the bangers. They lied on the online. They said they would fix the UI.
Do you have a Gen 1?
I don't even have it anymore. I threw them all away. No one would even buy it. I threw it in the trash.
I cuddled it. Run Mortal Kombat on it if you put the ROM yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I want that. No. That's what I want.
Put Run and Gun 2. If you get Run and Gun 2, I would buy a Run and Gun 2 themed skin and buy the whole thing.
I'm boycotting Run and Gun 2.
Okay, that's fine.
I want Mortal Kombat on that machine more than anything because I love the controls. I think the buttons and sticks are amazing.
You'll be able to run whatever you want pretty soon.
Cool.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Encoder. You know, with that, what I want to
have a question for him before you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're able to tell me, did Glen have a solution for the sitting gun before you talk to him?
Yeah.
Or his control deck?
I think he said yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you.
Glen's been working with them for a while, so I don't want to speak on behalf of anyone, but to answer that in more depth, they kind of gave Glen the runaround, I think, in terms of how to get that support there despite wanting it. I'll put it that way. I don't know that for sure. I haven't talked to any of these people, but I know that the USB thing has been there the whole time, and they told consumers that it was too expensive to make a board for. And then
they told Glen it didn't work at all because
and then suddenly opened it up for Glen. So I don't know. Take away what you want with that.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I kind of align with Mr. Encoder. You know what you had said in your post, which I wanted to add. Is it okay if I play your response a little bit later to what was said, because I'm going to play Yong's message for the chat so that they can get some context.
Yeah, I don't care, man. The response was public for that reason. It was, you know, I was disappointed in what he said and the way he said it. There were some things that I could have done better as far as what I did or that script or whatever else. What I mean by that is there are intellectual property that should not have been included in that. Like, you know, Double Dragon, everybody knows that's a legal ROM, it's licensed. Like, yeah, I put it there, but you know what? At the same time, it was unlisted. This is going down, and you're not going to have an option to get it without that if you don't mod. So there was certain ethics that weren't followed there that maybe should have been. But otherwise, some of those games, those developers wanted out. I spoke with, you know, Bill, and I asked him, I was like, hey, did you contact Yong and tell him you were disappointed? Because that was kind of Yong's argument, was the developers were mad. And he goes, no, man, that gave Tink Bash, like, it gave it spotlight. It gave it opportunity to be seen. It brought attention to it. Nobody would even know if it existed if that didn't happen. The same thing for the Circus Interstellar guys. So...
Circus
Just a-
Interstellar is actually a pretty fun game. I got to play it for all of 30 seconds before it was removed from the
Can
cabinet.
I have a quick question? Just a really quick question for a mystery encoder. Why do you think? What are your thoughts, in your opinion? Why do you think Yong is allowing ROMs and hacks and hacking in general to exist with Glen's deck, but not with your help? Why do you think
real
that
quick,
is?
before we do that, we should get everyone caught up on what Jong said. I mean, you
Okay.
have it in audio, right?
Yeah, I have it in audio. I want to play it for everyone, and that's why I say this is, just so you know, this is a nearly 5-minute
Wow.
rant, so to speak, and it is dramatized. This is not meant, just so as a disclaimer, this is not mocking Jong's voice or anything. This is just a dramatized clip of what was said. And I also,
before you play that, I do want to say that after my response, Yong backpedaled and sent me a personal apology.
Of course he did.
Wonderful. Okay. Well,
so you know, I'm not telling you to take sides at all. I'm just telling you that after he saw my response, there were some things that he wasn't aware of, like the fact that we actually didn't hack his system publicly before, while it was alive, I guess is the way I'll put it.
Yeah.
And so he messaged me and said he wasn't aware of that and apologized after seeing my response. So I'll put that out there, and you can choose what you want to over things. But you know, I'm also being called a criminal at this point by people because of.
Hold on. Then I got to add something since you said that. That's fine, but there's a pattern of behavior that's going on that I'm kind of so annoyed and frustrated with. People posting and then deleting, and everything's supposed to be okay.
Yeah, didn't he delete the post?
Right, and then hold on, let me get to my point. And then Brad makes a transphobic video, deletes that, and everything is okay. That's not how the world works. It's like me saying I'm going to stab you. The damage is already done, but let me delete my knife. Let me throw the knife away, and now everything's okay because I don't have the knife anymore. That's not.
I will say I deleted some comments on one of Kong's community posts, but that was because there was tidbits of information that I was releasing while responding to people, and the reason I deleted that was to respond all in a single post so that all of the information was collectively available. I didn't change my answers or say like, no, I didn't mean that. I also haven't deleted my response to Yong. The only reason why I'm telling you that he messaged me personally to apologize and deleted that post is so that you can form your own objective opinion and not take sides. I don't want you to take my side. I don't want you to take his side. I don't really care. Just that you have all of the facts. That's my goal.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. That is great. And so for context, we're gonna play Yong's rant, and then we'll play the clips I had from Mystery Encoder's response, and then we'll get back into the discussion. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before I play Yong's comment?
Brad sucks and Rainwater sucks. Proceed.
I am hearing from some YouTube videos and comments that we took away the games that Mystery Encoder gave you. No, Mystery Encoder hacked our server and created a way for you to steal games that were not ready from our servers. Because of this, we got calls from our game partners throughout the night on Monday, yelling at us because our server was hacked and let out their games that were not meant to be released yet and stolen. The games were stolen, and this is also a violation of EULA that you agreed to. We had no choice but to take action, and we only removed stolen games that you were not supposed to have, the games that you have absolutely no right to having in your device. We did not take your games. You stole them from us. We have only removed games that did not belong to you. Anyone who hasn't participated in this, thank you so much, and your devices were not impacted whatsoever. We gave you many free games because we love our family. This can happen when both the game devs and we agree. Game devs do not earn any money and can potentially sacrifice the sale of the game in other platforms. Every time a download happens, we are charged money for the server download bandwidth usage. When we give you a free game, we are eating the cost of offering you a free game, so we lose money. But we did it anyway because we love you. In this case, we absolutely do not agree with the actions that some of you took to hack into our server and steal the games. We did not release these games for a reason, and it was absolutely wrong for you to come in and steal them. Game devs had every right to be upset. We have every right to be upset, and we definitely have every right to take them back. They don't belong to you. They shouldn't be in your devices. Even for games where devs said yes to giving them to you for free, they are not the ones paying for the server fees. We are. We absolutely do not approve spending money on stealing of these games that go against every core value of what iRkade stands for. You downloading these games, you are also stealing our money. We did not take your games away. You stole these games from us. And Mystery Encoder developed the way to steal these games from us that hurts everyone. The game devs, us and the users who are downloading these games. Because I personally know of at least one game. Now I know 2 games that will F up your devices. These games are not ready, and they were not released yet on purpose. There is a reason why we didn't release them yet. Don't come to me for help if your devices are screwed up by using these games. Many developers are creating these games for you out of their passion, just like how we created iRkade for you out of our passion. Many of these developers make their living from the sales of their games. I have seen many game companies go out of business due to hacking and piracy. Thus, the reason why I am very strict about this, and one of our core values, is providing legal games that have awesome quality and experiences. This was also one of the biggest reasons why we created iRkade in the first place. How do you feel if someone steals your work? Someone steals your secret recipe that your restaurant is dependent on and spreads it all over internet for free. Is this what you want? Aren't we better than this? Isn't our family so much better than this? If you pirate, game devs don't make money and go out of business, they cannot make games that you love anymore. At the end of the day, it's you who lose out. If someone hacks and steals a game, it's their device that could become effed up, but also they are hurting you as they are causing devs to not make your favorite games anymore. Long term, hacking and piracy are a lose-lose situation for everyone. Don't be so selfish on saving a couple of bucks via hacking, pirating, stealing games. You are hurting everyone. Don't support hacks. Don't support hackers. For your and everyone's sake, drink one less cup of coffee and support the devs and the industry. Mystery Encoder, what you did was absolutely wrong. You caused us and devs a lot of grief, anger, difficulty, relationships broken, wasted time, lost in trust, money for everyone. You caused stealing of things that were not ready, stealing that impact these devs who are creating these amazing games for you. Us who busted our asses off to bring you iRkade and users who could be breaking their units. You are causing us to do things that we never wanted to do. You are creating bad experiences for our family and everyone who is sweating and working our asses off to create something awesome. Is this who you are? Because I don't think this is who you are. We haven't done anything bad to you. Please respect us and devs. Please respect our game devs' decisions. Please respect the countless hours and our entire lives that we put into making this happen for our family. I don't think you would like it if I broke into your house and released your things to the world to steal. Please respect others' properties and never do this again. We don't need you to step in. It doesn't matter whether we are going out of business or not. It has nothing to do with you, and you have no right to do anything with what we have spent everything that we have in our lives to create. Please know that you have created more than enough trouble. Please stop. Best regards, Yong.
All right. So that was Jong's, open letter. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that before I play Mystery Encoder's response?
I do.
Wait, go ahead. Messiah.
Okay, Mr. Encoder or Messiah, go ahead.
First, let me pull up this notes. The whole, I just want to ruin his whole talking point. He talks about how would you feel about stealing, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's a lot of nerve from somebody who was arrested for the same damn thing. He says this is why iRkade was created. iRkade was created because he stole a bunch of money from a Kickstarter from his previous business venture. This is the kind of crap that it's intolerable to hear. Also,
I don't know if you can judge somebody based on their past or history, though, with this company.
When it's current and it's relevant to what they're doing, yes, because it's a pattern and it's affecting people. It's kind of like the crackhead who keeps hurting you and hurting you.
Yeah,
this isn't like a 20-year-old event. This is current.
Yeah, I'm not defending the guy, but what I'm saying is people are able to turn a new leaf, and so if he did do something like that,
Man,
come on, man. The whole point to the company is that he stole from his last venture. So this isn't one of those things. Man. I'm sorry, man.
It's the same script, different cast, brother.
Yes, I was about to say that.
They're using the iRkade money came from the Hoppy money. We can't. This isn't the same bubble.
All right, still, but two wrongs don't make a right. Like, if that's how he feels of what happened, two wrongs don't make a right. So,
you seriously believe
I'm just saying that's not an argument against what he's saying. If that's how he feels about it, because he doesn't understand how it worked, or
I don't believe what he feels.
Yeah,
No.
that dude fake it in a $4 bill, Mystery Encoder.
Listen, he's entitled
I
to
have
his
limited
feelings, I'm entitled
experience
to
with
my
the guy,
feelings,
so
and
that's
I
why
don't
I'm being
feel
objective
well,
about
hold
it.
on.
shit.
I can speak on it. I worked for him. The dude fake it in a $4 bill. Why wouldn't he tell anybody that Kate was gone
I'm
since
friends
last
with all his
October?
employees.
Right.
I know
Kate-
what he's done. What
Kate-
he does.
Kate
Come
been
on.
gone since last October, but nobody knew that. You got people still sending emails saying, "Oh, Kate is slow to respond," but Kate been gone since October. They didn't want nobody to know that they laid everybody off last October.
Exactly.
Me and Gunther been gone since October. The iRkade Zone show been done. We were doing that as a favor for free, but we got stopped getting paid last October.
See, I'm not familiar with any of this.
But that's what I'm
why-
saying. I can speak on it because
This
I
is
was
nothing
there.
new,
Do you
though.
know about
this
the
is
hockey bit?
this is
What?
nothing new. Messiah has been documenting this on the iRkade
2
fan
years.
page for
That's 2 years.
for,
2 years I've
for a
been
long
documenting
time.
this.
We all
I'm
know this
taking-
stuff.
You don't know it,
For
man.
me
So-
personally, I'm taking things in the context of recent events. I'm not.
No,
putting
not
this
recent,
into it
bro.
like you guys.
No,
Not
I'm
recent,
sorry.
man.
That's This has all been playing.
Been happening.
No,
Mystery has
I'm
been
saying
happening for 2 years
me
on the fan
personally,
page.
on the judgment that I'm making or the statements that I'm making, and it's based on
No.
my own experience and context around recent events because I don't have the same experiences that you do.
Listen,
I'm educating you that it's recent in
It's
relation
recent.
to this. What's happening now? The company is based off of stolen assets, in my opinion, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Yeah, but I kind of understand what Mystery Encoder is saying. It like for not everyone has kept up with it. Even if you see it from the context of right now, it's still gonna look bad. If we go on and play like Mystery Encoder's response to this, it was like.
But I was
really
giving
good.
my thoughts.
And there's people that just bought these cabinets that don't know about that history.
Yeah,
either.
that's
They
true.
just
That's true.
subject to,
Go ahead, Toxin.
this bankruptcy happening in the end. It's like, I just bought this thing, and those 10 preloaded games that you told me I could install offline, yeah, that doesn't work. I bought a paperweight. Thanks.
All right, Toxin,
Basically.
you were gonna say something? Like,
No, that was my experience. Like I bought the cabinet and I haven't even paid it off yet. 2 weeks later,
Oh
out of business.
no!
Damn, Toxin. I feel sorry
and-
for you on that
And
one, bro.
another thing too, the developer from Brock the Investigator, he put out a message today. He says, "I am the developer of Brock the Investigator. First off, I want to thank you for your support. This game was sold way better than I expected, considering that it was only available for less than a month. And I'm hoping I'll get to see this money someday. Wait and see." So he hasn't even gotten paid yet.
Wow, that is insane.
Yep.
You know what? With that, I think what I'm going to do now is play Mystery Encoder's response, and then we'll talk a little more. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. This is what this is all about. So here we go. Let's get that clip here. Once again, this is dramatized. This is in no way making fun of or belittling the person that is whose content is being displayed here. Let's see here. Here we go.
Throwing this out there is to clear the air since we're not part of the iRkade official page and can't respond to Yong there. 1. We at Mystery Encoder did not hack anything. Hack is the wrong term. The script that released was 99.9% buttons and 0.1% made to make a request you made every time you clicked the install button on a game. It simply changed what game was being installed to one that was not listed on the store. 2. The bandwidth concern is kinda dumb. Yes, you're eating the cost for free games, but you're telling me if I delete and or reinstall a game 100 times, I'm costing you money for a game I already bought. How is that sustainable? Not to mention firmware downloads, all the other things getting downloaded, etc. 3. Some of the developers involved actually wanted their game distributed. Your reasoning for being mad or not wanting their game out there is, you don't release unfinished games or apps. Why is Jukebox Beta? Why was Heavy Metal Titans allowed out and finished at the last minute? What about John Pong? 4. I'll agree that some games shouldn't have been included in that script, but I disagree that it hacked anything. You also didn't own the intellectual property those developers wanted to distribute, so those things were not stolen from you or the developers, considering those specific developers wanted it out there. 5. You acted recklessly and I believe vindictive in the method of removal of those games, including the ones developers wanted out there, retroactively pulling the data from people's cabinets. The reason this was reckless is it was a mass removal and something you've never done before, as well as something that wasn't properly QA tested in the final days of your company. You risked breaking cabinets of your family. 6. You guys stated install preloaded games would work even if the servers were offline. That was a lie, as people just found out. 7. You guys constantly touted security and how secure your boards were on YouTube, but when someone finally does something, it's the end of the fucking world. 8. I waited a year to release any info whatsoever because I didn't want to harm you, your company, community, or ecosystem, yet you end your post essentially attacking me and people like me, saying not to support hackers or modders while also promoting a third-party solution. 9. The people who own these cabinets own the hardware inside of them, not you anymore. You went bankrupt. You didn't license this hardware to people. They bought it and it's no longer going to be connected to your services or under your control. So you have no say in how people use it or what they do with it. Sorry, I wanted to get this stuff out there because I don't like the tact and distaste of the post John made. The man is a liar or has no understanding how these things work and simply wanted to make a feel-good rant post about himself or something and play the victim again. You're not a victim. Consumers purchased hardware and they'll use it how they like. DMCA exemptions exist for when online services are rendered useless for this exact reason. The U.S. law supports this activity and the jailbreaking of devices in these scenarios as well. Anyone who believes differently can Google about DMCA exemptions regarding jailbreaking and offline video games. To add to this, if they want to talk about stealing, we should talk about how MAME, FBA, Linux, U-Boot, and Android GPL licenses work and how they stole the software from these people by violating their license agreements and not releasing the source code like they agreed to when starting to use it for commercial purposes.
Okay, so where to begin with all of that? Mystery Encoder, a lot of the points that you made were very, very direct and easy to understand. And it's clear that there was a disconnect and a misunderstanding between what was really going on versus what the perception was. And as you mentioned, Yong did apologize to you because there were some things he didn't know. But I just want to get your take on this, because one of the things that I had said when I was in the iRkade community, when I was a part of there before I got unceremoniously booted out for pointing out some of the things that you mentioned, I actually said, I asked, how is, to paraphrase, how is this really any different from what Glen is doing or what Glen wants to do, which is, he's got that deck and then he wants to put out an SPC that will essentially allow you to add, bring your own games and do what you want. So how do you differentiate something like that from, you basically wanting to provide a way for developers to legally get games to the customer? And you were on, a couple of different live streams, and that's where I got impressed, because I'm like, man, you're literally talking about wanting to help developers and talking about creating some sort of a mechanism for content delivery and all this stuff. You're not talking about, pirating games. You're not trying to make the iRkade look bad. You're basically trying to uphold the legacy. So I found this to be very, very, disturbing, all in all, when it came to, how he reacted and then what your response was. And it was just spot on correct. So did I get anything wrong there, Mystery Encoder?
So you said a lot, and it's going to take me a minute to kind of collect my thoughts and respond. But to respond to the first thing of how Glen's device might be different, I'm actually very disappointed in the way the community's attacking Glen. What he's doing is an option for the community. I hope nobody's attacking him over attacking iRkade for making that decision, because I know a few years ago they did say, like, ROMs are bad, piracy's bad, blah, blah, blah. But there's also, we should note, there's three different things going on, right? One is Glen's deck / SPC that he's going to install. I'll consider that one whole thing. There's the store script that was released that allowed you to download games from it. And then there's the idea of us kind of jailbreaking the PCB. The store itself wasn't jailbroken. So to clarify on those three things, starting with the store thing, The store thing could have been worse. Like I said, I'll admit to the wrongdoing of that there shouldn't have been certain games on there that were potentially licensed or can be constituted as piracy if you're using that script. But I'll also say that it was not hacking, just like I said in the response that you played. It's using the functionality of the stores that already existed and changing the idea of what game gets installed. No hacking was involved in that whatsoever. And to clarify statements that I made on Kong stream, even people were like, "Oh, you guys are committing crimes. You're hacking stuff. You stole our information. This, that, da, da, da." No information was ever stolen. No servers were ever hacked. When I used the words "back up the store," I meant that I backed up my legally purchased games from my cabinet, not their store, not their data off their store, nothing like that. So beyond that, people calling me a criminal for that is wrong. The idea of them supporting Glen's deck and publicly promoting it, I feel is wrong, just like you guys do. I know I'm going on somewhat of a rant here, but Glen himself, I would never attack the man for releasing it. I will say that they're going against their own core values or things that they're saying about, like, I watched Mad Little Pixels coverage of, they advertise the Raspberry Pi and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, this is bad, this is malware, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, oh, now you're going to have a device to do that, and we're going to go publicly endorse it. That's disappointing. That's very disappointing. As well as him writing comments about don't support hackers, don't do this. That's technically, I mean, hacking is a very loose term. We all know that. In today's world, hacking can be ripping out the hardware and putting a Raspberry Pi in there. You're hacking hardware, you're hacking a device. As far as supporting developers and what you said there, I'm trying to remember everything you said, so I'm sorry if I'm kind of jumping all over the place. I have told a few developers that even if we don't go forward with an ecosystem where there's a store, I want an offline method to distribute this stuff, but I want the ability to keep DRM in place, if anybody knows what that is, digital rights management. So, I mean, the way that it was originally architected, games were encrypted per cabinet, per device ID. So theoretically, developers could do that and release their games to people for their cabinet. And then even if that person tries to share it, there's no way to really pirate it. So even without this store, this ecosystem, whatever, it's still possible to allow developers to release games and sideload them offline without connecting to any ecosystem, even if somebody buys it out.
That sounds brilliant, especially considering, all the stuff that we're dealing with and all this drama. I mean, I love the idea of being able to legally add, newly developed games for this system. I think that that's beautiful. And the whole idea is commendable based on what you want to do. It's not just about bringing your own games. It's about supporting developers who are making new content that you can legally add to your cabinet. Does that sound correct?
Yeah. And that's one of my main points of anything that I've ever done, whether it be Arcade 1-Up. I've been questioned by a lot of people on like ethics and morals and legality of the things that I do or support or have done or have released. And it's like, at the end of the day, you play a gray line, sure, but as long as you're not openly pirating things or distributing that, there's a difference. Like if we release a mod for a cabinet and we don't include ROMs, like the MBSX Hilo hack, right? People were like, why doesn't John shut your stuff down? John D doesn't shut your stuff down, but he shut this down. We don't include ROMs. We're not stupid. We're not doing illegal things. And that's exactly why they don't come after us. That was illegal.
Yeah. And then here's my thing. If you can make something where it's possible to add your own games, then that is the responsibility of the user. That's the of whoever is using it. If they if they choose to do that, but by the same token, you are also allowing for a method for games to legally be added. If you own these games, you can add them to your system. And here's the truth. The truth is, we have so many ways. We are so spoiled in the home arcade community. We have so many ways to access all of these games, and specifically like old retro games and stuff. Like we were talking about, like earlier, Mortal Kombat. Like I really want to play Mortal Kombat on the iRkade. I own.
Why?
Why did you buy it on like GOG and it runs the ROM or something?
That's just what I was going to say.
Why? The controller layout sucks on the iRkade. It's not even the right controller layout.
this is what I was gonna point out, though. Or the point I was trying to make is all of us have bought, for example, just as a loose example, Mortal Kombat multiple times on multiple devices, multiple consoles. Arcade 1-Up has released cabinets. We have all of these cabinets and all these ways to play these games. So technically, if we were to get the ability to play it on the iRkade platform, you know, it's not like you haven't bought it. It's not like you haven't supported the developers. It's not like you're not, you know, you're trying to outright steal something. And that kind of was my whole, you know, bone of contention with what Yong was saying. I understand the sentiment about you know, piracy and all that, but the point is you literally had developers posting, and I didn't have time to render all of this, but I really wanted to do this, you know, dramatize this, because you literally had developers coming out and saying, yeah, we want our games on the iRkade, whether free, you know.
One of the developers was distributing the script that Yong was against.
Yeah,
they wanted their game there.
Yeah, that was amazing to me. That
they were basically told that they could only do 20 devices, and then they're like, well, you know what? We want everybody to have this, so they started distributing the script. And on that note, I actually made a different version of the script that I gave them. They decided to link Kong's video instead. I made a version of the script that only had the button for their game in it, and nothing else.
That is so amazing. And that just goes to show, Mystery Encoder, about the type of person you are and the integrity for which you are trying to uphold in doing all of this stuff. And like I said, I'm not begrudging, you know, Glen at all. I feel like anybody that's doing anything to help build on the longevity of the iRkade is doing a good thing, because it's keeping the community active and keeping the arcade functioning. So now you have this hardware that you can continue to use. Go ahead, OTG.
All right, I want to say something. My opinions are a little bit online, but there's a little bit different. A different opinion than what Mystery Encoder said earlier. Now, I understand he's being objective, but I'm going to speak on me behalf of what I see. So the company's done. It's done. They announced bankruptcy. It's done. Like Mystery Encoder said, it's your machine. You can do whatever you want. It's your property. It's not tied to them anymore. So hacking that's no different than somebody getting a Switch, buying it, and hacking it. Of course, Nintendo's going to see wrong on it. They modified their hardware, and technically the hackers were smart, and they had it where I forgot what it's called. Like the little device ID you get from your Switch. Like the way Dolphin got in trouble. But anyways, I like what Mystery Encoder is doing, but here's where I differ. I do see Glen as an option, but the thing I see against Glen is, even though the company's over, it seems like there's some kind of relations with Glen that they're holding on to, that they see something like Mystery Encoder and they automatically dog it. So that's the reason I don't see. Yes, I love the options, but it seems like that option still has a business deal with iRkade, and that's the reason why they went against Mystery Encoder. That's how I see it from my perspective, but how do you guys see it? I'm just kind of curious.
I have
500%.
Two comments to make on that. One is, I don't like being related to the Nintendo Switch, because what they did was actually legal. They bypassed the DRM, where I was saying we still want to enforce that. So yeah, it's a really valid point to make, and it needs to be made, because one thing is illegal and the other one is not.
Mm-hmm.
And the other comment that I had was on the idea of you owning the hardware. There was something that I said on Discord earlier, and a lot of you probably aren't in MCAP's Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I've been messaged by several people that basically have said that they have the intention of buying the servers or something like that. I will say that somebody affiliated with the company, I'm not going to say their name, in the message that they sent to me apologizing, also kind of mentioned that they were pursuing that in some way. And the reason that scares me is that, yes, the company's bankrupt and everything else, but there's people that are, I suspect that it will become a bidding war for control over your hardware and your cabinets. And that scares me, because then it becomes a product you didn't pay for. Then it becomes a product where whoever owns those servers, they own the direction of where your hardware goes. They own the direction of where your software goes. And they can involuntarily push apps. They can involuntarily remove apps. So people are fighting for control over your hardware, where our goal is to open it for you to have the option to do what you want.
So you said you guys were going to put out like a $30 PCB, right? You showed us a picture last night on Laundromat Wars.
It should be less than $30, and I want to clarify that It's not us. Team Encoder makes no money from that whatsoever. We teamed up with a guy that makes products for the At Games Legends and the or ALU. He's a third party. He's not affiliated with At Games whatsoever. But he designs and creates hardware, and we teamed up with him and said, hey, we don't want people to have to solder their own boards. Can you help us out and design this? And technically, he's somewhat of an official member of Team Encoder at this point because we help them out with stuff they do. They help us out with stuff we do, and so on. But yeah, so we're not making any money from that. But yes, there's a $30 option, and what that allows you to do, even if your purposes are 100% ethical, is you would be able to back up the storage on the cabinet in case somebody does factory reset it, or maybe the storage gets corrupted, and you can restore the firmware once it's backed up, and the firmware is encrypted, so that doesn't result in the release of any encryption keys or DRM bypassing or intellectual property being able to be leaked or any of that stuff unless somebody manages to decrypt it.
All right. So the main understanding I want is what's the difference between that route and what you guys know? Because I don't know much about it. Maybe Mystery Encoder, the Glen route. Like, what's the difference? Like I heard your guy, but your version, but is Glen's similar, or like I don't understand how his how it's going to connect to the unit, like
in terms of his control panel or his single board computer,
or how the whole thing works. Yeah, the control panel. How that's gonna is there going to be the communication between the control panel and the machine? Like I didn't understand it.
Through one of the same headers that we use to connect our USB ports. There's two USB ports. One's for programming. One's for devices and accessories. Glen's control panel will not expose the programming port. So if you buy his control panel, you won't be able to utilize our software with it. But I messaged Glen to basically ask him, hey, can you include with your connection to that header, can you also include a MEL USB connection so that if our board exists, the two can coexist rather than being one or the other? And his response wasn't yes, but it was basically, I believe he will be able to do that. I'll put it that way. I can't guarantee it. But
so he's actually going to try to make some accommodation for what you want to do.
Yeah, I hope. I'll put it that way. I can't guarantee anything. But my goal is to work with him to make sure that these two things coexist and it's not one or the other.
Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you specifically, one of the things I really liked about what you were talking about when you were on the iRcadians and when you were on Kongs R Us was the concept of being able to continue using the hardware that you have as opposed to having to purchase additional hardware to get additional games onto your system. And is that still something that I
don't want you to even have to pay anywhere close to $30 to be able to do what we're doing, but it's ended up being the simplest, easiest option. There is an alternative where you won't have to buy anything at all.
Okay.
But you won't have much capability.
Okay. Well, that's what I was wondering about, because like I said, that resonated with me because I really do like, the hardware as it is and would like to keep it that way.
Against Glen, it's more so that I highly encourage using your hardware for what it is, and you bought it and it's yours. And I feel the same way about the Arcade 1-Up products, which is why we soft mod those, like even the pinball, right? You can easily rip it out and put a PC in there and do whatever you want.
Sure.
But why create e-waste instead of using what you already have if it's just as powerful as like a Pi 3 or something? Like you own this. You're not paying a subscription fee. You didn't license this from them. It's not like you went and took a God, what's the term for those stupid loans with cars? It's not financing, lease. You didn't lease it, right? If you get a lease on a car, you have to return it. You don't technically own that car. They own that car. Or if you're financing a car, the bank owns it. In this case, you own it. Just like a car, you're able to put an exhaust on your car if you want to. I mean, whether or not the laws within your state let you do that, but it's different. It's once you own it, it's yours. Why can't you do what you want with it? Why should you have to buy something else to be able to play your cabinet the way you want it to play?
I have a quick question. Whatever happened to Vanilla Beast? Do we have an update on that? On Vanilla Beast and his game coming? Can we get that game? They're done.
That was just that one screenshot. That was it.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Thing?
Yeah, what do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what their business relationship was.
I just want you to say that it was fucked up. That's what I want. I want a soundbite. I want a soundbite.
No, I don't have an opinion. I don't.
Damn.
I don't know what they're. Like I said, I try to approach things objectively. Like, you know, one of the reasons why I tell people that I started like using an alias instead of doing any of this under my personal name or remained anonymous and everything else is I'm a fucking narcissist, dude. Like I will get an ego, and I don't want fanboys to try to back me up while I'm talking or arguing with people.
Yeah,
so it allows me on my personal profile to go argue with people, and people can tell me I'm full of shit. Rather than having fanboys go, no, that's Mystery Encoder. He made that. No, dude, if I'm wrong, I want to be told I'm wrong. When you create identities or teams like this, people are so quick, just like the Yong cultism that people are talking about, to back you up because you're that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be a narcissist. I don't want an ego. So that's why I don't want to.
So in that case, since nobody knows who you are, just say that what they did to Vanilla Beats was fucked up.
No, I don't want to comment on it.
Dude, he's being objective. He's being who he is.
All right, fine.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I totally appreciate the objectivity because, you know, I try to be that way too. It's like if you're gonna,
you're an asshole if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I'm an asshole. Oh damn.
Realistically, you're an asshole if you don't do that, and you're stuck in your own fucking head. And that's my problem with the way Yong responded, is he couldn't see things from the other side.
Yeah, and that's why I saw it different personally. For me, this is me being just the way I am with my opinions. Is I just saw the way he threw you under while he's working with something that's very similar and didn't throw it under. And I just look at it as that, and that's how I see it. But I totally understand, you know, from your different point of view. But
I understand it from his point of view even, and that's why I was saying, like, yes, he has an obligation to protect the people that own the rights to those games, right? Whether it be Double Dragon or something else. And so that's fine. I was fine with them reacting. I actually considered acting vindictive, and I was like, you know what? Then we'll just release the whole damn store or something. And it's like, no, you know what? I need to be the bigger person here.
Yes.
So I was, and versus instead of going and enabling piracy and saying, like, you know what? Since they're being assholes, here's their whole store. I said, you know what? I'm just going to step down. I'm going to back up, and I'm going to leave it as it is, and just let them do their thing, because this is what they're supposed to do.
You know what? You're a better person than me. From the beginning, because you known about this for over a year, I guess. The project's been working, and you waited till they were dead. But me, I'd have been like, okay, let me do all the legal shit.
You're way better than me too.
Worst person.
I'm all subjectivity.
No, and you know,
like look at Steps. Like Steps is triggering the shit out of me.
I want to be like you when I grow up, Mystery Encoder. Even though you're younger than me, I want to be like you.
Somebody commented on one of the Facebook posts too, and they're like, you know what? Fuck this. I just want to know how I load free games.
Oh man, that's funny.
That's ridiculous. The whole idea is, and in a lot of ways, when you say it the way that you're saying things, Mystery Encoder, it kind of makes me appreciate a little bit of what Yong was trying to say, even more about what the original idea of the iRkade was, even if they're not ultimately sticking to that. It's the concept of yes, we want to allow for developers to get their content onto our machine. Well, and I mean, and you are essentially being at this point trying to be that conduit, and that's an admirable thing.
Yeah, it sucks because now there's developers that were working on things or updates that maybe consumers wouldn't get. Like he mentioned in that post that these were unfinished games, or that people weren't going to see the games in the light that developers intended, right?
Yeah.
And so I know I've seen a lot of people mention things about WrestleMania and DLC for it and wanting that on their iRkade. It would suck if no option came out and you didn't get to do that. You know, it would suck if there was developers like the Interstellar guys. Nix told me, specifically with the Interstellar guys, they considered quitting game development when they found out that iRkade was going under because they never got the chance to release their game.
That sucks.
You know, it's the one that I don't understand. That one point where he kind of threw a threat, like, if you guys got these unfinished games, there's a reason why we kept them. If your machine fucks up, don't come crying to me. I don't understand that.
On that one too. My comment there is, if you actually cared and these people are your family and you meant anything that you said in that post, and again, objectively here, this is just with reading this post in context of recent events, why wouldn't you tell people what those games were? Because there are people that still have them. If that really existed and your intention was to protect people rather than acting vindictively or like somebody was your enemy or trying to attack someone, why wouldn't you say what the games are so that they don't break their stuff instead of saying screw you?
Okay, go ahead, Messiah.
Sorry if I'm too off topic, but you guys were talking about the developers and the games, and the one that did the Interstellar Clowns. From what I recall, Prince was directly talking to the developers, and they only had so much time and so many people to get the games out to. And they pretty much said that his list would be one of the first in line in order to get those people out. Apparently, none of them, to include Prince. Prince had it all on this machine for like maybe 30 minutes, and then it was wiped. He didn't do none of the mystery encoder bit, nothing, and it was wiped. You know, clearly, and there's only one way to do that. It was on purpose. There was a vendetta.
Well, there's a technical reason behind that, but
not everybody's was wiped.
No, it was.
We want to get into the technicalities because
everyone that had it that was
playing there now, and guess who they are, right?
Can I address someone?
I respect what you're saying, but it clearly looked targeted, and it was pretty obvious to me.
I don't believe it was. Well, I based on the information we have, I don't believe it was targeted. But
can I address someone in chat or no? Or my mic coming through?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Just Steps is in chat. I just wanted to address Steps face to face or whatever. If she wants to come on and talk, that would be cool too. But yeah, she's talking about how bankruptcy is all part of business. Well, tax evasion is not part of business. Being a criminal is not part of business. Lying to your quote-unquote family and turning your back on them is not part of business. Maybe it is part of a business, but not part of a legit business like everyone says, legitness. I don't know how it's said, but
I love you,
Steps needs to stop sucking Jong's dick and protecting him as much as she does, because it's just annoying. It's just annoying. She's obviously on his side, and what's right is right. We're not taking sides. It's right and wrong, and business is not done the way it's been done for the past 2 years. So that's all I wanted to address.
Wow, that was really good, Console Fanboy. I'm impressed.
Well, in Discord, it'll
just
be,
saying.
you know, they room, you know, what iRkade did was effed up and this and that, and then here on YouTube, it's Jong's the greatest person, and then in Discord is he lied to me, he's a liar. The whole fence riding thing, it's getting out of control because it's stop. I agree.
It's really irritating. And when you see Papa Brad doing a community post, showing off Rainwater's post sucking his dick too, and he's like, "This is not my opinion." Well, motherfucker, if it's not your opinion, why the hell are you posting Rainwater's post if it's not your opinion? It's obviously your opinion too. If you're posting your friend's comment on your own community post, it's just like, and it's just frustrating because he thinks we're too stupid not to see the hidden agenda. Everyone is sucking Jong's dick, and it's fucking getting old already. He's a criminal, and that's
but the question is though, you know, to what end? And this is where we go back to what Messiah and what a few of you others were saying about the concept of the business of a continued business venture between you know, iRkade and, for example, Glen for his magic deck. Messiah, go ahead.
This is just my opinion, Mr. Encoder, so you don't have to kill me over this. All right. So my opinion is, I don't believe they are bankrupt. I believe this was a publicity stunt. My opinion is that this is a rebranding to go towards the software route that they were trying to do. It looked like Jong and Michael was doing victory laps, you know, drinking and having a party and a blast. That's chronic cough gone. Fighting so hard about what Mr. Encoder did. If you're bankrupt and you're truly gone, who gives a shit? He's fighting way too hard for a company he allegedly doesn't run. These are just my opinions. I'm not saying any of this is based on facts.
Messiah, have you seen Michael's Fabic, how happy he was the day after? And then 45 minutes after that whole speech by Jong saying that he's bankrupt, we see Glen posting about his Glen deck.
And maybe
45
Mystery
minutes
Encoder can
after
put a
that.
light on this. What are Form D filings for $2 million from 52 investors from a night Excel back in February? Looks to me that he was given money to continue. I don't believe nothing fell through. That's
So we won't be surprised if
that community says.
If he just we see him disappear and then all of a sudden he has a new company in Korea or something. He's doing another scam.
You mean like he
Just
did
like
with
he did with
Hoppy?
Hoppy and iRkade.
Yeah.
Like
he might
did
show
with
up somewhere else with another one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, behavior
Even
patterns
a
like
person-
that, you cannot change behavior patterns.
Even
like
the
that.
person in this community now that's on his friends list said, "Oh, look, here he is going off to make his other business scam." You know, like, but now he's a cultist. It's weird.
I did mention on MCAP's Discord that we'll see the third company with it returning on phones as a digital download or something.
I believe it's mobile because he has a brokerage deal in Korea.
A joke based on the fact that in his latest stream about updates, it was like, here's a controller with the iRkade software running on it, and it's like as a businessman, if you look at it from his perspective, the guy, he can't go become a CEO somewhere else. He's not a developer, so he can't go apply for jobs doing that. So his only path forward is to go start a new company. It's only logical that it would be in some kind of medium like that, an idea he's already had. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's logic breaking it down. It's saying, like, you know, as a path forward for the man, if you were in his shoes, what would you do? You've got to start another company. You're a businessman. That's what you do.
Run and hide.
That's your path.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Zod, can you pull up Westside's comment, his first comment? Westside Ryan? I don't know if you pulled it up.
Oh yeah, I've been going through
you did
Westside
it?
Ryan's
Okay.
comments.
Okay.
But I wanted to address Welcome to Die's comment here, where he says, "Why isn't anyone questioning their new office if they're bankrupt and got nothing to do? Why a new office?" You want to answer that, Messiah?
Oh yeah, he's absolutely right. I've addressed it many times. I'm sorry that you didn't get to join our other Facebook group, but I looked up. I called the offices, all that. I've seen the whole bit. Their rental was, their office building was pretty much sold off like last year this time to become apartment buildings. So, you know, lease laws and, you know, in Chicago and whatnot, you got to have a pretty lengthy window to tell tenants when to get the F1 out of there. They've known for a very long time what they did. Also, he's right. Just like John said during COVID, we could walk and chew gum at the same time. They've been running half their shows out of their apartment buildings this whole time. There's just a two-man show. You don't need an empty building, shell building,
right,
to run a mobile business.
Hey, you know what?
Pretty much, as long as the servers are up, which are probably not even in the States.
You know what? Nothing shocks me. You know why? Because Jong said it from day one. Anything is possible.
Including
anything is possible. And speaking of anything being possible, we have Steps Gaming joining the stream.
Oh,
Welcome,
here we
Steps.
go with this shit.
Hey,
Oh, I love this.
you love this for what? You said
I love
Beetlejuice.
it.
You said
Okay.
Beetlejuice, so here I am, man.
Beetlejuice? What do you mean
Yeah.
I said Beetlejuice? What the
You
hell are you
said my
talking
name,
about?
so I came. You
Okay,
said you
cool.
told me to come. I'm not afraid of you.
Congratulations. Okay, congratulations for following directions.
All right,
Okay.
you want to
All
steer
right.
this?
I have nothing to
don't
say
have
to
any
her.
I have no reason to defend John.
What do you
The
mean you have
company's
nothing
done.
to say to her? You asked her to come
Company's
on.
done.
No, I just wanted her to. I just wanted her to say whatever she wanted to say,
The
honestly and
company's
openly.
done. I'm really excited for what Mystery Encoder's doing. I'm really excited for what Glen's doing. I like to support both options if I can, and I think there's a lot of good coming from all of this. To be honest,
And you trust Jong?
I don't have
you
any
trust him?
opinion really. I don't know the guy.
Then why
that
are you
well.
here? If you have no opinion, then what are you doing?
What am I doing?
I just had a
you're
question.
telling me
I
that
just
I
a
was-
simple question.
You
Do
said
you trust
that I
Jong?
was trying to like push up Jong. I'm not.
Well, yeah. So I'm asking you a simple question. Do you trust Jong or not? It's a yes or no answer. That's all.
Okay. If you want to know the truth, like
Of
no,
course I want. No,
don't.
I want to know the lie. I want you to lie. I
I'm
want to know
not
the
lying.
truth.
I'm just telling you. No, I don't.
Okay. Thank you for being honest. That's all I
Okay.
wanted. If you trust Jong, why are you supporting him then? Why do you have
I
his
didn't
product?
support Jong.
Why are you
I
in
said
his?
that I like the iRkade. I enjoy the iRkade. I
Can
have
I
fun playing the
request
iRkade.
that I not
Yeah.
be in the middle of drama.
No,
and
I'm
stuff.
just. It's just no. It's not drama. It's just a very
No, it is.
confusing one.
You
Somebody
two
says
have some problem with each other, like Rexer and I have a problem with each other.
not at all. I just
And-
asked her a
and-
simple question, and she says that she doesn't
It-
trust Jong, but yet she supports Jong. That makes zero
The-
sense
the
to me.
tone
How
of
am
your
I
voice
supporting
is
Invite her
Jong?
back after
someone,
Encoder's
so.
done.
Yeah,
I
after-
got nothing to say to you. I got nothing to
Okay.
say to you, Steps.
Okay,
You
well,
make no
after-
sense to me.
Okay, so after Mystery Encoder, and did you have anything else you wanted to add with regards to that Mystery Encoder?
With regards to what?
With regards to that exchange between those two.
What about it? There's drama in the community. I don't participate in any of it. I don't. KonsoleFanboy's an asshole. Steps can be an asshole. We're all assholes. We're all being
Exactly.
assholes. We
Exactly.
need to
Thank
stop
you.
being
Thank you,
assholes.
Mystery.
All right, well, there you go, Mr. Encoder.
Just don't
He
censor
summed
me.
it up.
Just
He
don't
summed it
censor
up.
me, and we're good. I don't care. I want to say whatever I want to say. Steps, say whatever you want to say. Say that you trust Jong, but then
You-
support
you know
Jong
what,
anyway.
dude?
Make no sense. It's fine.
Okay, so the thing on Jong and trusting Jong, everybody had every right to trust Jong if they wanted to. They bought his product. They believed in something. They kickstarted it. They did all of these things. Nobody could have. You can say that you guessed it. You could have said that you saw the writing on the wall. Unless you worked there and you heard that they were going bankrupt and all this other stuff, it was all speculation before that. And you could have continued to trust them as a company and had faith. Maybe you really liked the product and it was more about the product than the faith in the person.
But at what point do you start to see like there's too much funny stuff going on and the writing's on the wall? Some things you can't ignore. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you see something.
Yeah, it's all bad.
I can't.
It's all
in
bad.
terms of-
I'm just saying in terms of attacking anybody's faith or belief in the man, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah. You know what? This is such a small company, but you know, it reminds me on a bigger level is the television Miko. It's always going to have their fans or hardcores.
I
We
was
can't
waiting
stop
for
that.
somebody to bring that up.
We really can't stop that, Console Fanboy. You can make fun of them as much as you want, or
Yeah,
if you
it's just my
consider
opinion.
Steps
I
a
can-
fence rider. You want to bring her towards the
Yeah.
correct side, whatever. The drama is always going to be there, but Mystery Encoder,
Exactly.
like it's drama. And like whatever, like we got Mystery Encoder here, and we're getting them entangled in y'all's two drama. Like come on, he's to be
Okay,
like,
fine.
Here's
Well, I
one
just
thing-
had an
here's
opinion.
one thing I'd like to.
I was the reason why I say that is because I was questioned for going on the iRcadians, and
I
there were
saw that
people-
show. You were
there
so
were
funny. The
people
very
that were-
beginning. Hilarious.
no, but there's people that are concerned of what show I go on or who I talk to or whatever, and it's like I'm not taking sides.
It's none of their concern.
I care about the community as a whole.
yeah.
Whether it's you guys, whether it doesn't matter what your opinion is, I support you in having your own opinion. You're allowed to do that.
You know what? And I love you guys, Mystery Encoder, because you guys don't have to be doing this. You guys got jobs. You guys could be working on other stuff, but you guys share the same hobby that we have. The one thing that I got to get kind of close involved in y'all's project is when y'all did the Big Blue, and that was amazing. What you guys did, you spent countless hours getting the input correction on a fighting game and making it feel so much better. Anyone that appreciates fighting games, especially when you're playing a game like that, you need those inputs. And the fact that
So
y'all went and
Bill-
did that, and we put it out, and we still heard controversy in the community. I'm not sure if you guys heard the
Well,
feedback, but being
I
a
still
YouTuber,
will say Rob deserves credit for doing that first. The problem was that we were the only ones to get it out to everyone.
yeah,
He had no way to mass distribute it. That's the only reason why we did what we did when we did it.
yeah.
And that's why there was controversies because Rob and I go
I
at it
forgot
all the
about
time.
that at the end.
Yeah, and you know what? You know,
Yeah.
I give him props because he actually managed to work with Arcade What Up to get that to be an official release, and that's great and awesome, and it helps the community, and that's always our goal.
Yeah, and that's basically what I was getting down to. That we appreciate what you guys do here, and it just seems like some people. There's always going to be, everyone have different opinions, but it just seems like some people just don't appreciate you guys, and I just want to let you guys know that
It's
you
all
guys are
confidential.
appreciated big
Who
time.
cares? And we're gonna keep doing what we do because we enjoy doing it, and the community benefits from it. So there's added value there for us.
Oh, you guys are better people than me. I'd be like, fuck this, man.
You know what? At some point, I was thinking the same thing yesterday when I was reading what Mystery Encoder's response to Jong was. I was like, oh my god, Mystery Encoder, if he gets fired up enough, might just release everything, might just put the store out there. And again, that shows integrity on Mystery Encoder's part for not allowing himself to get emotionally wrapped up into it and just looking at it like it is what it is. And I really admired that. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. This is the way that you're supposed to do things. You're supposed to be thoughtful about it and supposed to understand, hey man, I can't just react off the cuff like this, because if I do, then there'll be repercussions and I'll be the one that looks like the a-hole. So ultimately, that's amazing. And, again, Mystery Encoder, I really appreciate you being here. So thank you, man, for taking the time to come here.
No problem.
Hey, Zod.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I wish you would call me more bad names, man. But other than that, yeah.
Running gun 2. Running gun 2.
Mortal Kombat ported to the iRkade. Come on.
No, just running gun 2.
That's just it, right? You run whatever you want to run. I'm not giving you anything. If you want to.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're not giving us ROMs, but yeah.
I want to be able to back up my machine. If it crashes, I want an image that I can reflash it. In case
I agree with Toxin.
That's what we need.
Yeah, he's a Voltaire of the
Wii U. Supposed to support is first and foremost being able to back up the hardware you own to make sure that it doesn't die. I mean, let's be real. Whether Yong moves on to a new business or not, and if it's software side and somebody does take control of the servers, that doesn't mean that new boards are being manufactured and that our cabinets are still going to live once those boards go out or there's data corruption or whatever. So it's like, what's your path forward in terms of that? Even if the software side continues, it'll be unfortunate.
If the capacitors go bad and my board dies, that's it.
Yeah.
Hey, Steps, can you answer Cuddle's question in chat, please? Since you're here.
What was his question?
I don't know. Okay, I'll read it to you, I guess. Ask her if Yong left us. Can you pull it up, Cuddles? I mean,
yeah, I got it.
You got it? It's the second one. The one right after that, I think. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I see it there. So here's what I gotta say about that. The UI sucks. I said it sucked. I said it sucked in my review. I agree with that totally. The other thing I wanted to say is why I said, you asked me, do I trust Yong? And I said no. And I know you're going to clip that. However, the reason why I said
already.
No, yeah, I know. The reason I said no is that when those games got out, and some of them were games that the developer wanted us to have for free, they went into our cabinets and tried to take the games away.
100%.
Right? If you did not leave me with a way to back up my cabinet,
right.
Wow. Then why do you support him, though? Then why do you support him, Steph? Why do you support him?
I don't support him. I'm supporting the iRkade and the iRkade community, but I'm not supporting him specifically. And now the iRkade community is going in a different direction, which is better for
you were
me.
all over. You were all over chat supporting Yong earlier, all over the chat.
No, I said that I wish Yong well, and I give him cheers for starting the company.
Community.
All right, I'm sorry.
No matter what.
My bad.
So it is what it is. That community.
My bad. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. It makes no sense, but I'll drop it. It's just confusing.
Yeah, I don't hate the man. I don't like the way that it was left. Okay.
I'll drop it.
I'll back Steps up and say that in the post that Yong made, Steps specifically called things out and sort of defended me in that and said like,
okay,
how is this way? How are you claiming this if it was only a web extension or so on? I don't have the exact.
My post got deleted,
but
so did mine. Steps. We're in the same club. In fact, not only did my post supporting Mystery Encoder get deleted, but I got kicked out of the group. So
what made me upset about that was when Michael B was interviewing Michael S, I specifically asked about that group and whether or not mod discussion would have been allowed there. And Michael S's generic corporate response, which is perfectly fine, was that this group isn't heavily moderated. And so with that, I've seen multiple posts get deleted that mention mods. I've attempted to join that under our page and wasn't allowed to. So I wasn't even able to respond to Yong under, our brand. I could have done it under my personal profile, but that goes against, my own intentions, which I've mentioned here in terms of the reason why anonymity makes sense. Outside, there's other reasons that are personal as far as job and so on, but no. So it's unfortunate that I felt like almost like they lied to my face on stream. I'll put it
and that was the thing.
If your breath doesn't smell like Starburst, you're banned.
They lied? Well, wait, an iRcadian lied actually?
No,
I'm
not
shocked.
an iRcadian.
I feel like that was the point. Is that Mystery Encoder went on that stream and asked, "Hey," he asked specific questions. Can I do this? Is it okay if we do that? And then as soon as he put something out, it's just like the instant attack. And it's like, but we kind of asked you about that. Can we talk about this stuff? And then you kick him out the group. It's like, what's okay and what's not okay.
They have to keep the narrative.
For the longest time. Yeah.
They have to keep the positive lie narrative going on every fan page. Of course they do.
There's a difference between just asking logical questions for clarification and straight up hating on a company. It's like I felt violated because, hey, I'm a cabinet owner. I got this cabinet. I'm supporting it just like everybody else. I supported you. I've had, direct conversations with Yong myself. I've never, I'm not talking negatively about it. I'm not making streams. I'm just saying that I wanted to get clarification on certain things. And just because I wanted clarification, I get booted out of the group. So to me, it just goes to show that cult-like mentality that we were talking about earlier is very much alive and well. And it doesn't make sense. It's just a home arcade. It's just a toy. It's not something that you should have to feel like, oh my God, this is life and death stuff. No,
tell that to the iRkade community when they protect it like it's their own son.
Being called a criminal.
Yeah. Not only are we talking about that though, the iRkade as a whole, it is now officially a dead and defunct company. So that makes it even more ridiculous for it to be a crime to ask a question about something that you want.
Their quotes.
It's ridiculous.
The more and more I think about it, Messiah's theory on it being bankrupt is bullshit. The more I think about it, because their behavior pattern of them lying over and over and over, why wouldn't this be a lie also?
Okay, I'll comment on
That's my take on it.
I'll comment on that and say this is speculation. In no way is it fact. I think iRkade as a brand and a company is gone. I don't think that means people's intentions who are involved is to give it up or try to continue it in some way by
rebrand
assets outside of it.
Yeah, there you go, Messiah. You're right, as usual.
Messiah, a rebranding concept. How do you think something like that would work? Just as speculation.
I'm going to mention people's names because this is my idea in my head. It's not an attack on them, but this is how I think it was going. I think it all begins with Glen. I think this is one of the reasons why people are stuck with Glen beyond just that they like him and stuff like that. I think they want in on what's going to be new. About 6 months ago, I started logging on the chats and stuff like that in the post that I believe that Glen, my idea was Glen was going to come out kind of like with a mini ALU with his own Pi board, stuff like that. And I mean, wow, stuff is starting to come to fruition. And kind of like what Mystery Encoder was saying, with people trying to own the servers and stuff like that. Obviously, he's a businessman. I give him his dues. If it was me, I'll try to do the same crap, But I think he's going for that base because the cabinets are out there. He's got the loyal base, all that stuff. But is Yong's hand removed 100%? Hell no. I think he's got to cut. Especially my idea was that they were going to give him permission to like reflash the boards with the OS. It's simple to me, in concept and theory. Yong gives him the thumbs up to reflash his board, his Pi boards, his Chinese boards or whatever, and he saves the day. We got a new cool Glen deck in our stuff, and the iRkade is saved and rebranded and back up and running. And Yong is still there in the shadows.
That's actually brilliant. If that's not their plan, my God, Messiah, it should be. If that's
right,
that's not the plan they're doing, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it in terms of like just looking at overall, like it makes logical sense, and you would think.
And I just want to call it out before it happens.
There's been a lot of things. Yeah, I would just say real quick comment. Just there's been a lot of things that Messiah has said, and later on it happens. So this is one of those things. KonsoleFanboy, clip it, use it a little later. But I appreciate that theory because it makes a lot of sense. It could.
It could be the reason they went after Mystery Encoder to hold from the jump. If that's their plan, if they're going to hand it over to Glen, that could be a reason why they said we don't want Mystery Encoder to do anything with this until we get everything with Glen set up. Right. It could be true.
Cuddles in the house, my Jewish family.
That can support that theory Well, I'm just saying another thing that can support that theory is if they produce that hardware and it's something you can put in other cabinets, you don't necessarily need an iRkade to go forward to be a part of that software model.
He's doing the pie board.
So he's going kind of like the Unico route, focusing on something different, but still keeping their name out there by making the product more accessible. Because Unico's doing the monitors now, you know,
you let other people take a cabinet. Maybe it's an Arcade 1-Up, maybe it's not. Maybe you got it from somewhere else. Maybe Arcade 1-Up clearances cabs for $50 again. Oh,
and the liabilities off
board in there and use that for our software setup.
I like that point. Can you say that point again, Messiah?
And the liability is off of John Wuxin.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going to do, Messiah. I think you're onto something, and I want to welcome Miami Cuddles to the show. What's up, man? What are your thoughts on all this?
I want to tell my story of pretty much how I purchased an iRkade, and I purchased a Sidney Hunter cabinet because I liked the game and I wanted to play it on our arcade machine. Then all of a sudden it was out of stock. Nobody contacted me. So like 2.5 months later, I contacted them and they say, oh, you can't get that one. We're out of stock on that one. And so I got the WrestleMania cabinet, right? And then, and I bought like $150 worth of games. And so I was like, I don't really want the WrestleMania cabinet, but I already purchased $150 worth of games. So I just stuck with it. I played WrestleMania. The game was completely broken. And then all of a sudden the sale stopped. Like, what the hell, man? No more sales? And, I never heard the UI, because people, they play the games and, dude, I was like, what the hell is this loud whoosh? You know what I'm talking about. It's so annoying. And I just couldn't take that anymore. And I thought they were going to fix that. I kept recommending games. Prince Malcolm did a lot of work. And it's like there was a lot of games that they could have gotten, but they really got the bottom of the barrel games. I felt like they got them for free. I felt like, they weren't paid. Like I was recommending games and maybe they had to pay $1,000 or a couple $1,000, but they didn't want to pay. So they got the free games. And it was just like disappointment after disappointment. And they come out with that stupid car game, the Popo game. I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, what?
They hyped it for 2 weeks though.
I gutted the cabinet and I'm like, I can make this, put a retro pie in there or something. I was like, oh, fuck this shit. I say, that's it.
Hey, is it true that you threw it away for real? Is that
I dumped it. Yeah, I dumped it. I say,
why didn't you just sell it?
I was. It felt good to dump it. To be honest, I was just.
Baby.
We know of everything that we need to do, and we're gonna do it. And it was like nothing ever happened.
Right? They lie. They lie through their teeth. Every chance they get is a lie.
I ask Cuddles a question.
Give it to me if you don't want it, so that I can record a video for KonsoleFanboy to post of us shooting it with ARs.
Oh, nice. Can I come over? I'm in Cali.
I'm in Arizona.
Oh, that's close. I'll make that drive just to shoot it. I'll make that drive. I promise I'll make that drive.
Messiah, you had something you wanted to add.
Yeah. Coach, you mind if I ask you a question? It's not going to be the easiest. It's going to be a tough question.
Okay.
How come, like, we're hearing this now, you have great opinions, it's not, but it's like the first time we heard this when I've watched you, and just my opinion of it, you were very overly positive about a lot of the games. A lot of the games were the same games that you say are bad. It felt to me you were saying were good.
Which game?
That you were one of the ones that were suggesting most of those games.
Hey, real quick, I want to interrupt.
I recommended 2 games.
Hey, I want to interrupt this real quick before. This is, in case anyone doesn't know who Cuddles is, he's the same guy that told KonsoleFanboy that whatever fighting game was better than Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that.
That game was terrible.
He's talking about that kind of shit, man.
Good dude. I mean, I like his style and everything.
Messiah, I recommended 2 games. Mm-hmm. One was Galacticon and one was Saturn.
That's a good game. I
They're
bought that
probably
one.
the two games that are the best games on the whole iRcade.
Both on Switch. Both on Switch.
Not
I understand.
guys,
I got one opinion
not to
there.
cut you off, but I just want to say this before I forget. I want everybody to know that the name of the game that Cuddles recommended that said was better than Mortal Kombat was called Verdict Guilty, and I bought it for 99 cents on Steam. Just putting it out.
Was it better than Mortal Kombat?
What do you expect?
And I'm gonna add one other thing.
Is it good or what?
Yeah.
I like it, but I don't think it's better than Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it was a little bit of over exaggeration.
Hey, the only
You
thing
think?
this is how I think Cuddles is really, guys. I think Cuddles on purpose was trolling the community. But if you listen to his recommendations, he knows some good games, like one that looked like Star Fox. One, I think he was trolling with that shit. Were you trolling?
Yeah,
Cuddles. You're on the community. I can tell.
Relief,
We can tell. Me and him were like similar. I
You
would
got
troll
me,
too.
man. I'm like, what the-
In fact, this is one thing you guys don't know about me. With iRkade, I made a couple videos on my other OTG side piece. Steps will attest to this. We trolled on the 10-yard fight. Me and her were trolling.
yeah.
And then also they just picked up
Dude,
on me and they
the
wanted me to
popcorn.
videos. I was like, oh
The
shit, they
popcorn.
picked me, and it was from a troll. And me, it was an inside thing with me and Steps before. Like it was all like because we were trolling UAG on that game. Like let's just make a troll video for UAG. That was the main point. It wasn't to troll iRkade community, but
they ran with it too.
I feel you, Cuddles. I'm the same way.
You guys don't like eggs?
Eggs is dope. I love eggs.
Is a
man.
classic.
Eggs is great. I was #1 on eggs. That was the only good game is eggs. I was #1 on the leaderboard.
Now, Barris's is better than Mortal Kombat.
Bears.
Here's
That's
one
for
thing,
sure.
Mission Coder. I heard rumors that you would be able to save leaderboards or something. Is that true or not? I just heard a rumor. I may have heard it wrong.
Please say no.
Wait, what?
I hope
Would
you
you
say
guys are you guys gonna run like leaderboards or back them up or something like that with leaderboards or not at all?
Okay, first I have to respond to KonsoleFanboy and say fuck you.
Fuck.
And second, I'll say yes, we are.
Damn. Damn.
That's the plan, is to keep the leaderboards alive because I want the system to still be usable even if the servers do go down.
I was really hoping that you would
Next
just
level.
destroy their leadership, their leaderboard thing, so that they would really have nothing. That would have been made me so happy. Sorry, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
I have to bring this up.
Don't
swear,
censor me.
and I'm gonna find it. That I saw a post when people were scared about iRkade going bankrupt. I swear I see it in my head that Yong said that the leaderboards, for whatever foolish reason, was going to still be up and still be a thing. I'm gonna try to find that, but I don't know if anyone else remembers, if it's just a fallacy in my head or what.
I'll clarify.
I hate that so much.
I'll say that the current goal right now, as far as our board goes and all of that, is to enable you to be able to push games. And then as far as that, I already said developers would be able to restrict them to the cabinets. For that ecosystem going forward where we want to replicate the leaderboards or replicate like the services that allow you to deploy games to the cabinet, quote unquote, remotely, like from a web service, I may wait until that stuff actually goes offline to do that. That doesn't mean that I won't enable an option to disable you from receiving updates from their servers, just in case somebody takes it over for your own protection, so that you don't have to be on board with whoever takes over.
A quick question. So what about leaderboards, whatever. Let them have those fucking leaderboards. But what about online? They can't go online and play each other, right?
We can do that. Why not?
Oh my
damn
god,
it, dude! You're killing me,
You're
man.
gonna make it better.
Don't make it. Oh god, that's
he's
awful,
gonna make
dude.
it better. That's the point.
I want iRkade for them to be dead, like leaderboard dead, online dead.
That's not supportive of the community that bought it and now owns this hardware. You want
They can
people
still
to
have fun.
No, but it's the iRkade
that boy.
community. That doesn't count.
I
don't want a dead
I
cabinet.
said from day one that I thought the cabinet
want
was
a
an
dead
ugly
cabinet
piece of
either.
shit, and that I thought the UI was an ugly piece of shit. I've said
Amen.
this from day one. I haven't changed that opinion.
Oh,
I said
my
the wood
God.
had quality, the buttons had quality, but otherwise, why are you against people having?
Because
these-
it's the iRkade. It's because it's the iRkade community. They shouldn't have it.
Boy, you shouldn't be hating. It's a whole different community. Imagine this. Imagine if Mystery Encoder put Run and Gun 2. You would become
Okay, then I love it. Then I love it.
What if
Then that's
I got
fine.
a game and all of a sudden all of us are like, dude, we're into the after the community. It is possible. It's a far fetch, but I'm just saying
Aftermarket.
what they're doing is good for the community. People that have them. There's tons of people.
I'm just saying they don't deserve it. They don't deserve to be happy.
I'm
That
hating.
community.
Hang on a second.
No,
I
don't
will please
censor me.
on something this guy said. The comment that's highlighted. So in Jong's post, he said that you were stealing money from them through the bandwidth, right? However, they said as long as the servers stay up, and they said that the servers had to be paid for, and the reason they would go down is if they weren't paid for. So how are you stealing money for something they're not paying for?
I think
That's if they're not paying
that
for it.
that just confirmed Messiah's theory, because why did he say all that? If you actually go back and you look at Jong's rant that we played on this stream, he mentions a lot of things.
It's not a fair statement to make if you just told the community that you're not paying for those servers anymore, and that's why they're going to go down. That's messed up to even say that people are stealing money from you through things that you're quote unquote paying for because you just told the community you're not.
You're filing for bankruptcy, so you're not paying for anything.
How am I supposed to know that this is costing you money if you just told everybody it's not because you're not paying for it?
Exactly.
I have yet to see him file for bankruptcy if he's filed under his legal name.
There's
It's like
no
how you pay your rent.
Doesn't
You pay
have
your
to
rent
be
to the
filed
landlord
under
and they don't
business
pay the
name.
building management.
I don't think so.
So you can essentially lie about bankruptcy and give yourself time to rebrand.
Now you got it. Now you got it.
Try to relate this to breaking into a store and stealing stuff from them. My analogy is, how about the dumpster divers that go behind GameStop and find stuff in their dumpster? I just
Don't talk about Damien like that.
I hope they find Cuddles Arcade.
They threw it away. I gave you the access to the dumpster. That's what I'll say.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Alfred Berger
like
wants to know. Alfred Berger wants to know, Mystery Encoder, if we're going to be able to play Mortal Kombat 4.
Yeah.
MK4 sucks. Let's be real.
Hey, it's gonna be funny if Glen is the new president of something rebranded iRkade.
Glen himself, and I'm speaking on behalf of another person here, so these statements don't reflect Glen at all.
Oh my God, you're so scared.
What?
Nothing.
I believe Glen is upset with it. I believe that he was given the runaround because we were told that it was going to work over Bluetooth first, then it was USB. I don't think Glen's in support of them. I don't think that scenario is going to work out. That doesn't mean that I don't agree that Messiah's speculation on whether or not Yong might be able to do something with Glen's software once it's out there. So maybe Glen's not even involved, right? If that's the case, let's say this theory is true for a second, or the speculation is true. Who says Glen has to be involved at all? They can release an image for it if they want to. People release images.
Why can't we just? I don't understand. Why can't we just let iRkade die? The company is done. Let's just move on.
Now.
Huh?
Oh, wait. Oh, you're talking about what Mystery Encoder is doing by keeping it alive?
Don't keep it alive.
The real community is gone. This is a whole different after community.
Yeah, but those same people stay. Those same people are there. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm fine with it. It's okay. They don't deserve happiness.
So many great games.
But they don't deserve. You guys don't deserve to be happy. You guys do not deserve to be happy. I don't want the community to be happy. They don't deserve happiness. That's okay. But they don't deserve happiness at all.
Second stage, or whatever they called it. John called it, right?
Second Life.
Second Life. And they released Run and Gun 2 and they fixed the UI. Would you purchase
Then that's okay. Yes, I will purchase it for $9.99. I will get a Run and Gun 2 skin themed, and I will enjoy it.
How about there's a deal that Mystery Encoder could do that for you, but you gotta be the biggest iRkade fan for 3 years. You would do it, right?
Dude, I will make 5 channels devoted to iRkade. No. I will look. I will devote my entire. I will have 5 YouTube channels, all devoted to iRkade.
3 weeks.
To be a weekly
3 weeks,
participant
man.
in the iRkadians.
You hear that?
Fine.
A weekly participant?
Yeah, that's fine.
They don't want you
What's
there
the most
anyway,
graphic
so.
intensive game can the stock board play on the iRkade if it was out for it?
What?
What's the most graphical intensive game the
play Sega
iRkade can support if given a chance?
Anything is
Load Runner.
possible.
They could play Sega Dreamcast games.
Yeah, if they could play Dreamcast,
I have-
they could probably do some PS2.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I haven't seen it play Dreamcast. I haven't seen a Dreamcast.
I have.
Yeah,
Really?
but
Which
it
one?
is-
Well, yeah, you've seen a
Wait, it
similar
was Glen's.
chipset run Dreamcast.
Glen's.
You've seen the
Dude,
same
Brawlers
chipset run
is-
Dreamcast technically.
You
Because
said
the
Dreamcast is the strongest?
no, the arcade one up, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the exact same CPU in this.
Yeah, and that one runs House of the Dead
That's
2
Dreamcast
and
right
Dead or
there.
Alive. Yeah.
Okay.
That being said, I don't want to say anything or guarantee anything, but I think, don't quote me, I
Your
think
opinion.
that chip is capable of PS2 and GameCube.
Okay, thank you.
Dead Cells. It plays Dead Cells. That's a pretty graphically.
So pretty much nothing that Jong said.
So that's actually a common misconception in the community, is that people believe that because hardware is quote unquote weak and it can't emulate something, that it can't run a game that's graphically intensive. There's a difference between emulation and native execution, and that's why you see Arcade 1-Up doing things like, or commercial emulation for that matter. Like you see Arcade 1-Up doing Killer Instinct, right? Nobody thought that was possible on a Pi 3, which is essentially what's in there.
I have a question, Mystery. Is there a way that you can have a program in all the iRcades so when they turn it off, it completely bricks the system?
I can have a splash screen that says "fuck you, console fanboy" every time someone turns one on.
Can you do that? Can you do that for me? That means I would get like a few more subs.
This device is not supported by console fanboy. Throw it in the trash.
If you could do that, dude, if you could do that, that will have so much traffic to my channel. That'll be awesome. And I don't have to buy subs like Brad.
For that exactly.
I mean, Brad had 219 subs in 8 days. It's awesome. And then he has 3 people watching his channel, but he has 219 subs in 8 days.
I'll show the possibility of doing it, and then I won't do it just to let you down in disappointment after I show you.
Oh, you fucker. All right, fine. Whatever. That's fine.
Mystery Encoder, make an iRkade image that runs nothing but Fightcade and Run and Gun 2, dedicated to triggering console fanboy.
I wish Fightcade ran on Android. If it did, you could easily get it running. I'm sure it would support a lot of those games.
Sweet.
The thing is, Run and Gun 2 doesn't run on MAME, doesn't run on Pi 3, on Pi 4. I don't know why, but Run and Gun 2 is like impossible to emulate. I haven't seen it emulated on anything.
I don't think it's impossible to emulate. So the problem is that you've got multiple people that are involved in the emulation community. You have people that have dumped those original ROMs. You've got people that are creating these collections that are like image creators and calling themselves developers, and that was an insult in a way. And then you've got the guys that are actually involved in emulation, not the people building RetroPie. A lot of people think RetroPie are the ones building this emulation and stuff. It's the problem is that you don't have enough developers that understand the original hardware. Because when you're doing emulation, remember, you have to understand how that original cabinet and all of its stupid old chips worked.
Yep.
And every old arcade cabinet could have had its own unique CPU. It could have had its own unique GPU. And every time you try to emulate something, you have to understand that system. And it has to support it. So like MAME, the reason why it's called a multi-arcade machine emulator is because there were so many damn arcade machines that it has to emulate all of them. It's not just an arcade emulator.
So what games can it not emulate? Like, what's the limit? Model 2 hardware, AM2, like what?
If you like it, it probably won't run it.
that would all depend on.
I missed what you said.
If you like
I
it,
missed what
probably
you
won't
said.
run it.
Ah, funny guy. You're a funny guy. All right.
But that's why you have issues with Sega Saturn and N64. Like you can have a super beast machine and you still won't get Saturn running on certain.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm saying. I just want to know what the iRkade cannot run. That's my question. What can it not?
Between home consoles too, right? You see way more support for home console games, and people are like, well, why can the NES version of this game run, but the arcade machine version can't, or whatever? And it's because a console was built in one way. Like that console is one system, one GPU, one CPU. It's not 500 different ones over a single year period.
And Damien Deal With It is asking this question. What's the chipset? I know you mentioned that on another stream, but I forgot what the chipset
iRkade 3399.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you actually look up that chipset, you can pretty much find out what the limitations of the chipset is. And it's actually not a bad chipset. It will run Sega Dreamcast games for sure.
I'm sure ETA Prime probably released a video with some board running that same chipset or something.
Yeah, it will definitely run up to Sega Dreamcast for sure with no issues.
So I had
Depending on
Sega
the game.
Dreamcast running on an Arcade 1-Up Outrun cabinet. That thing has 128 megabytes of RAM and a similar CPU to a Pi 3. So the fact that it can run Dreamcast isn't impressive when this is about 4 times as powerful and has 8 gigabytes of RAM instead of 128 megabytes. That's part of what pisses me off about not being able to use the original hardware. It's not bad hardware for a single board computer. There's no reason to throw that in the trash if you have this usable, pretty decent hardware. You know, not everybody wants to.
So MFL.
Oh, good one.
NFL.
Blitz.
NFL what?
Do you know about that? What happened with that?
Oh, MFL.
The Mutant Football League, or however you want to say it.
So I don't know what happened with that, but they said it wouldn't be capable for running on the hardware or something.
Yeah, I emailed the developers, and that's what they replied to me and said.
So that's hard to answer. That tells me that the developers are inexperienced.
Really?
They probably couldn't optimize it for the board for some reason.
Exactly.
That's what I've been told. It couldn't be.
So when it comes to let's take home consoles like an Xbox, for example. Modern Xbox games. What is that game that just came out? Starfield, or it's coming out? It's been announced. Starfield or something like that.
Yeah,
Anybody aware of that? And there's a huge debate about it running at 30 FPS.
Yeah.
So the reason for that is, in order to get something running on a home console, whether it be an iRkade, if you're going to commercially support it, or a PC, you upgrade the graphics, give people as much detail as you can. You go, you know what? You want this? You run it with this hardware, and you have your high, your low, your medium settings. So why couldn't they have just, downgraded the graphics, downgraded the shaders, did less processing, try to optimize routines, so on, so on, so on. It's not believable that a game cannot run on something. You can make it run if you want it to run.
Yeah,
like probably developed for the Xbox and then ported to the PC, probably.
I heard they didn't want to spend the money for it, so that's pretty much it.
And Damien deal with it. It can run Shredder's Revenge because there's an Android version of Shredder's Revenge that you can put on your phone. So you can definitely
say that
put it on.
necessarily, because your phone is probably like 20 times more powerful than this thing is.
Yeah.
It can run on Switch.
The fan group would destroy you, Mr. Coder, if you ever say that again.
Can it run Street Fighter 6?
Oh my God!
You would have been booted from the group for saying something like that.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's not Jong's fault or anybody's fault that a phone is 20 times more powerful. There's a huge deal with Qualcomm.
It is when they say it's not.
Yeah. But no, Qualcomm doesn't let people license those Snapdragon chips that you find in your phone if you run an Android phone. And those chips are extremely powerful. Or NVIDIA is a better example. Did you guys know that the Nintendo Switch runs on the same architecture and similar chip?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's NVIDIA Tegra X1.
Yeah.
But the problem is, unless you're a $1 billion corporation, you're not getting one of those chips in your board.
You have to license.
This is like, you know what this reminds? This is like Spawn Wave, except we don't have misclick. We have steps. That's funny. That's funny.
I don't know what Spawn Wave is, but okay.
That's not funny.
But you know what's interesting about Shredder's Revenge is
okay, cool.
A guy in a group, he discovered the Fundable site, and Jong put up, and he advertised Shredder's Revenge to be on the iRkade. And when I had posted that out, he's like, "Oh, it's a lie," and he started real-time editing it and deleting it. But I reserved it on the web archives. But for all his investors, he said iRkade was going to get Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, put Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4 in the screenshot under the iRkade.
Oh shit, we got Steps Gaming on here.
Where the fuck have you been? Where the fuck have you been? You missed a lot of shit.
I had to get my sunglasses.
We don't wear no shades around here,
shit, man.
I had to get my sunglasses. I'm standing there. Hey, listen.
You better watch this on the replay. You missed a lot of shit. You missed a lot of shit.
Listen, I'm standing in solidarity with my brothers, UAG, OTG, Mo. We got sunglasses. Y'all, hey. What's up, Steps? Hey, I got to tell you something. Steps is the only one that stand on shit. The rest of her friends don't stand on nothing. So I got to respect Steps for showing up. She's sharing the screen.
That's bullshit. No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
No, no. I got respect.
She's here, man.
She here.
All right, whatever.
Zohar,
no, she supports Brad. She supports Brad, though.
Zohar, let me step in. Hold on. Let me step in. The rest of them cronies will not acknowledge me because they'll say my name, but when I go to check them on shit, they will ignore me. Steph's the only person I gotta pay homage when homage is due. She the only person that will respond, and then she will check in.
Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. I'm being honest too. Agree to disagree. But she's on that Papa Brad show. Fuck that. My opinion.
I mean, fuck Proper Brad. I call him Brad Water.
I went on that show.
I'm not gonna say fuck Steps because Steps the only one who is
no. If you protect a piece of shit, then you are a.
I mean, I hear you
exactly.
But Steps explained that she just wanted to have content and do her show. Now, my thing is, them other motherfuckers won't check in and then tell me, hey, I said it. Stand on what you said, Knicks. Stand on what you said, Brooklyn. Stop hiding. Don't stop hiding, man.
I can't speak for any of them. They have to speak
I know
for
you
themselves.
can't.
I can only speak for myself. And the reason I came was just to make sure that I said what my opinion was. Because my opinion wasn't what Zohar was proclaiming it was. So I felt the need to say this is my opinion.
But Zohar, you got to give her some credit for actually addressing you. But
it doesn't matter what it was because she said
okay, look, all right, I give her credit, but I don't appreciate her supporting. I don't care though. I don't appreciate her supporting.
I can respect that. Okay.
I don't appreciate her.
Let him have the last word.
All right, you go ahead, Zohar. You got it.
I'm just saying. Fine, I respect her for coming on,
Brooklyn,
but
knock it
I
off,
don't.
bro.
But I don't appreciate.
Brooklyn, you full of shit, bro.
Oh my God! Can I say a fucking word?
Hold on. No, I hear you. But Brooklyn up in here talking shit about who he hiding from. Brooklyn, you ignored the fuck out of me when I came in your shit. Stop playing, bro. Stop playing. You and Nick's been playing. Steph's the only person who has hit me up. So relax. You want to come in here acting all hard, but you will not address me. You will not come on no channel. So stop, bro. Go ahead,
I just want to say I respect Steps. I respect her for coming on, but I don't appreciate or respect her or her character for going on a show with Papa Brad and all them cronies and all that Brad Water bullshit. I don't appreciate it.
You know what,
So
KonsoleFanboy, you were supposed to bring. He was supposed to bring his popcorn. I mean,
can you guys just make a real
look, Brad,
the Real Housewives of YouTube?
Just let me have my Dom. Just let me have my opinion. That's all I've had. That's my opinion.
No. I'm gonna respect it though, KFB. But the motherfuckers are in here talking about they not hiding. They'll come on.
No, they are hiding.
They hide.
Yeah,
They'll
of course.
Come on Zod shit
no,
talking.
that's true.
Brad,
that's true.
I've been in your
that's
channel,
true.
Brad, I've been in your channel. You ain't said shit.
Hey, let me step out.
Brad is here. Brad is here. Come on, Brad. Oh, please get Brad on the show. Please get Brad on the show.
Scared, bro. They scared, man.
Let's get Brad on the show. Fucking get this motherfucker on the show.
Hey, Brooklyn, you want to act hard now, bro? Knock it off. You want to act hard now. I was in your face, bro. You was not hard. You was charming. Relax.
Please get Brad on the show.
All right. Now wait, guys. I wanna address this because I take personal offense to this right now. We are doing a stream here. We're talking to Mystery Encoder and talking about our feelings. And Papa Brad is over here calling this group a hate group. And I take personal offense to that because not only are we not a hate group.
That's because we black. That's because we black, Zod, right? Because we're dark.
That's true.
We're minorities.
That's true.
He will never say nothing about nobody else. They a bunch of racists.
True.
That's bullshit.
Get Brad on the show. Get that false copyright, plagiarizing, pedophile supporter on the show.
Listen, when a guy calls us a hate group and we're out here trying to have a serious conversation, I take that stuff seriously. That's not cool. Papa Brad. Now, I don't know. Now, I know, Papa Brad, you got your issues with certain people, and that's perfectly fine. But this group is in no way, shape, or form a hate group. I'm over here telling you, I got an iRkade, okay? I've been supporting the iRkade. I own the machine. I bought the games. I literally supported, have been supportive of what they were doing. So I don't appreciate having these guys on here and having you come in here and call.
This is what he does. Zod. Hold on. Let me say some shit, please, and it's gonna be cordial.
You got
before Brad came in chat. Wasn't it all nice, laughing? Everything was good, right? We were all laughing, joking around, whatever. Brad comes in the chat, fuck shit up as he usually does in every fucking live stream. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm gonna say is ignore it. And I agree with you, console fanboy. But we were talking about
it's just getting old.
And current, what was it? The current, I guess, console games that we couldn't really say it was Dreamcast or whatever because they could always fine tune effects like a PC game. So there is possibilities of like, who we were talking about with the MFL earlier, right? I don't know what was the real reason that was, because we were at a convention and we actually talked to somebody that was working on the game, I guess I could say, and or part of it, and he had mentioned that he had heard about it, but that the hardware couldn't run it. But I'm not sure how true that is. I don't know what the truth is on MFL, but it would have been cool. What's up, King?
All right, listen, man. I'm gonna say this and I'm done with it. I'm tired of these motherfuckers. Brad, Brooklyn, Water, whatever. You guys can have a link. You can come address yourself. Not once have you guys. Not once have you guys came and defended shit. Brooklyn, all you do is get in the chat and talk, bro. Stop, man. Stop.
Brad, just come on and don't forget to bring your yellow sunglasses when you come on too, please.
Hey, listen. Zohar, I'm gonna tell you. When Messiah offered to clear things up, Brooklyn, you said your channel don't do drama, but yet you do a little sneaky ass shit. That ICP
indirect shit.
We ain't stupid.
You do indirect shit.
I called him on it. He was making fun of UAG and comments and stuff like that.
That's what they do. That's what they do. This is what they do. Indirect shit all the time. All the time, indirect shit. That's all they do.
If we are a hate group, come say it to my face. Brooklyn, Brad, y'all come on the link right here. Steps is here. Your homegirl is here. Where y'all at?
I just have one question here. Steps, do you think that this panel right here, this panel, is a hate group?
It's not a hate group. Is it unfair to Brad at times because it feels like it's attacking him? I guess. But
Brad have his
oh my God! Steps. He's attacking us. You got it backwards.
Steps. What I'm talking about is not people individually. I'm talking about right now. This group. What we're talking about. Is it a hate group? That's all I was asking.
Hey, Steps, don't do that.
Because I know people have their own individual opinions. But I wish
people could get along. Obviously, I can't do that. I just came to say what my opinion was. I don't want to cause any more drama, so I guess I'll step out. But
no. Look at Brad.
You don't have to leave.
Bring up Brad shit. Bring up Brad shit. He says he's not about drama. Look at this indirect shit. This is what I'm talking about.
Hey Brad, you keep forgetting. You forget where I'm from, Brad. You know I'm in the 985. You talk a lot of shit, but you forget where I'm from.
Have they verified this is actually Brad?
Why am I a class?
Brad does have a go around.
You need to check it. I'm checking it right now. I'm checking it right now.
Hey, hold up. Hey, Mystery Encoder's trying to say something for a while. I want to hear. He's been trying to say something.
Right. It is Papa Brad. It is Papa Brad.
Zod tried to put this together to kind of talk about something to inform the community or to set things straight or whatever else, and you're detouring to talk about your
but you got people in the chat.
Oh God!
So block them. Get rid of them. Stop promoting it and allowing it.
Why Brooklyn here? Y'all, let me ask this: Why the hell Brooklyn here? He don't fuck with none of us on here. Why the fuck is he here, man?
Why is Brad here? Why is Brad here? Why is Brad here?
And Brooklyn, get the fuck on.
I didn't say anything about anybody. I don't know.
And it is. And by the way, it is Brad's channel. I checked. 2,090 subs. 2,000 of them are fake. So I definitely checked.
Okay. So guys, I want to get back to the questions at hand here with Mystery Encoder here. We were talking about the idea of what the iRkade chipset can run, what it can't run, the ideas of, being able to get content over to it. And OTG, you were interrupted. You were talking about Mutant Football League. Continue, sir.
Oh no, it was just I was just getting to that, making a point. I was actually trying to drift the conversation away. It got a little crazy, which is fine. I love that. But we got somebody like Mystery Encoder here, and while we have him to find out, a couple of things from his perspective and at least his knowledge of what's going to happen on with the community. I know we all have our biased thoughts, Console Fanboy. I can't stand people in the community, but I can at least be objective in this case of somebody over here trying to preserve it and there being a community afterlife. Doesn't it could be a mix of regular people who have the cabinet that weren't supporting iRkade. There could be different types of people, but I don't know. I just wanted to steer the conversation away from the drama to Mystery Encoder because I could hear him like what is this? The Real Housewives? He was saying all these comments and no one could hear him.
My issue is my time is limited and valuable. Not only do I have kids and stuff, but I've got projects I'm trying to work on, and I took the time to come and try to talk to you guys to help you set things straight or educate where I can.
Yeah.
With any professional experience I have, I mean, I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I'll give you my own opinion or advice or ideas about things. But listening to YouTube drama isn't what I'm here for. I don't have time for it. That's where I'm going to leave it. I don't know. We're all adults, man. Let's be adults.
Well, anyway, OTG, the thing is, with Mutant Football League, like Mystery Encoder said, it might not necessarily be that it can't run on the hardware. It could be that they were unexperienced. They just couldn't figure it out.
Right.
Or as Messiah said, it comes down to money. If iRkade didn't pay them enough to port it to the platform, or they didn't think they were going to make enough for the labor to be worth it, it's just not possible because of that alone. But for iRkade to go forward and say, we're going to release this and make branded cabinets for it before making sure it was possible is irresponsible. Yes. And there have been other companies that have done something similar. iRkade isn't alone in that. But
Marvel versus Capcom 2?
I'm not making any comments towards anything. I'm just saying that.
It's my opinion. I'm
they're
probably
not
wrong.
the only ones guilty of making promises or stating that a game would run or whatever, and then it fell through for one reason or another.
So, Mystery Encoder, in your opinion, under the right circumstances, it would be possible for Mutant Football League to run.
Yeah, I mean, let Messiah talk.
Can you get it to work? That'd be
I only
great.
got my finger up to speak when you're finished.
Oh, okay. Under the right circumstances, yeah, but that's also to say that doesn't mean that a demake can't run. Like, right, have you guys seen that people make demakes of video games? Like they make PlayStation 1 ports.
Yeah. There's a demake of Castlevania Symphony of the Night for Sega Genesis being developed, which I find fascinating.
So are you playing the real game at that point? So is it possible? Yes. But are you still playing the real game once it happens? Are you still playing the same game you were promised? That's where the question comes.
Like K on Super Nintendo. No,
because they can downgrade it to N64 graphics if it won't run with the current graphics. Then you got a bunch of polygons on your screen. You're like, well, it's still the same game, but it's still not the game.
So Mystery Encoder, can Killer Instinct run on the iRkade?
The SNES version.
I'm not going to answer that because
Battletoads.
There's conflict of interest there if I do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Mr.
cool,
Encoder.
I gotta buy iRkade before they sell out now. Damn it!
Hey, go ahead, OTG. Go on Amazon. Get you a Retromania cab.
What I'll say, this is the way that I'll put it, is that the Arcade 1-Up did it, and it has less powerful hardware.
Oh shit!
But the question is how it did it. It's not open source emulation.
Code Mystics is
why there's ethical concerns to answering that properly.
Thank you, Mr. Encoder. I appreciate your answer. Listen, I was always fascinated by the fact that iRkade was able to get Killer Instinct to run, and that should have been a game that iRkade, not iRkade, Arcade 1-Up, excuse me.
Yeah,
that our Arcade 1-Up was able to get it to run, and our iRkade didn't get it. I always thought iRkade would be the best platform for it.
I agree, Zod. I agree with that for sure.
So RockPi 44994B says Squash.
No, it's a Rock chip. RockPi is a developer board that uses the same chip.
Okay.
I think, man, I tell you, if I was Jong, I'm gonna be speculating right now. If I was Jong, I would not have gone for no retro titles. I would have stuck with modern.
Oh, I agree, man.
I would have stuck with modern
110%.
titles that could play on an arcade platform. But he fucked up there.
It should have.
That would have been competition.
You
that agreed. So hard.
You can run your retro games. That's what it should have always been.
Bingo.
They talk about competition. We lost the competition. That would have been real competition.
Exactly.
They had Windjammers 1. If they could have got Windjammers 2 on there, that would have been great.
Oh yeah, Toxin. Yeah. I said that to him. I'm like, John, I'm telling him, I'm like, bro, why we can't get? He said, just be patient, my friend. I'm like, but come on, man, we gonna only be patient for so long. You get
I'll
the
tell you
remake
why.
of that.
I'll tell you why it didn't happen. They listened to Brad and Steps and Rainwater and all and Nix,
Oh, here
and that's
you
why
go
it didn't
again.
happen.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say, hey, look, Steps ain't had
Let's not get off subject this time.
so hard. Come on, Steps ain't had nothing to do with that. I
I didn't mean
worked for him.
Steps. I didn't mean Steps. I just
Brad
meant
Water.
Brad.
I'll
Just
say
meant
that.
Brad.
Yeah, them
I
two.
meant
but
Brad
Steps
Water.
wasn't-
I
yeah,
meant Brad Water. I didn't mean Steps. I meant Brad Water. It's just like they're all in the same group. I get confused.
Hey, whose time is limited? Remember?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm gonna go walk my dog. Thanks for having me on, Zod.
Thanks for coming.
All right, Steps.
See ya.
She has to go walk Brad. She has to go walk Brad.
No, just walk Zohar. Anyway.
Other thing too, fellas, and I told nothing I'm saying here. Sorry, y'all got me laughing. Hey, I'm sipping my rum, but nothing I'm saying here, I did not tell Jong in person. Jong, you should have never did the gold cap. I told him that. I said you should bleed this Gen 1 till you can't bleed it no more. Then you graduate to Gen 1. I mean, gold cap. Just like what ALU was doing. They bled the shit out of that damn ALU, and now they about to drop a 4K pack. Yes, exactly. And look,
just like the 4K upgrade for the LU is.
Exactly, Mr. Encoder. I told Jong. Jong tells me.
And it's a bar top, so you already have to stay just upgrade it.
But I told him that
on there, man.
And the components are high quality in the Gen 1 iRkade, so it makes no sense.
I don't understand, Zod. I told him, I said, John, we had a
and you know what it costs to redesign a board like that? Like it had to have cost at least $1 million to design the board in the first place. The circuit board in there.
Agreed.
It may not have been that much. It could have been way lower. It could have been 250, 500 grand, somewhere around there. But regardless, and then redesign it for the damn gold. For what reason? Was there something wrong with the original board?
So here's the thing, Mr. Encoder, and like I said, I can speak on this intelligently because I was at the table with them. They were listening to the wrong people. They were told that, it'll be a good idea to do this gold cabinet, and I'm sitting here telling them, no, don't do gold. You made no significant changes, but the body shape, you didn't do any board changes. You should have kept the Gen 1 and bled it, and then you don't have to worry about the extra shit. But you want to tout JBL audio. I could give a rat's ass if I got JBL audio on the retro type.
To tell you where my own personal opinion comes from on a lot of this stuff too, where I speculate on something somebody should have done with hardware or shouldn't have done or whatever. At one point, I was a CTO for a company that was manufacturing boards for kiosks in stores for a certain industry that isn't federally accepted currently. So that they could, make this machine, and that's where a lot of my opinion comes from for that stuff. Is I've architected this stuff myself before, and those machines are still running today and have been around for 6 or 7 years.
Go ahead, KonsoleFanboy.
Thank you. I just want to address Nix. He's not in the chat, but just in case he watches this later, this is for Nix.
No, you have to do it on the camera. Has to be lower. It has to be under your chin.
Oh, hold on. No, wait, hold on. This is for Nix. This is for you, Nix.
Oh my God.
Tell me if that's annoying or not. That's all. That's all I want to say.
Oh my God.
So does iRkade, like most of their money would come from the money that they sell on the software, right? The games that they take their percentage of the games. Wouldn't they lose money making more hardware?
That's
the same way that PlayStation would lose money when they sell the machine.
Redesign hardware. What is the point? And that's where I'm speculating and saying, was there something wrong where the original hardware fell? Is that why they had to redesign the PCB? Or was it because they were adding JBL audio? Was that necessary?
I think it was because they realized they made a mistake by not having any USB inputs on the cab.
But no, they could have added an add-on board that you just plug into it for that.
Yeah, the same way Glen did. They could have just made it happen.
Well, that's what Glen's solution is, right? I mean,
instead of the gold cap, they could have just did the deck with Glen. It just skipped the whole gold.
So what's wrong? What's wrong with just doing like ALU? I think ALU did the perfect model. Just turn the blind eye to BYOG because I'm not in control of that. Bring your own game means just that. You could own the game and have a digital title. It is a gray area. That was the smartest business model. In my
Well, and they're not taking the liability. They're telling you to bring it. They don't care where you obtained it from. That's not on them. That's on you.
Exactly, Mr. Encoder. So I think that was the smartest thing you could
And
have
that's
done.
the same way we approach our mods, right? We're not providing you with that stuff.
And I don't think they would have lost any. Like for me, example, I bought the MVC2 cabinet, and I put the Big Blue APK on there. I still went and bought the Big Blue cabinet anyway.
You know,
So, I mean,
the biggest thing about the hacking community that a lot of people forget, a lot of people buy stuff because it's been hacked for FOMO alone. They would have fucking pushed half their inventory on people just wanting a powerful machine that was plug and play for some ROMs or some light gun games and stuff like that if they were still making hardware.
Yeah.
I truly believe that if somebody demonstrated House of the Dead playing on the stock PCB and the Sinden was plug and play, that people would rush to buy the damn thing because it's like, wait, there's a cabinet where I can plug a light gun in, turn on fucking House of Dead and play without any restrictions or configuration? What the hell?
If they would have gotten that and Time Crisis way before iRkade went up and just advertised it with the Sinden, then I think they would have killed it in sales.
And they wouldn't even had to advertise it, just wait for the community to do it if it was an open system.
Yeah, the community will be a free advertisement. And
I want to respond to Thor KC's question about earlier. He said something about, I think, relationships aside, what's to stop us from starting a new campaign to build an indie game store and retro game archive from the ground up? Several of the people within the iRkade community that are fans of it have personally told me that they want to do that, which was part of the purchase of the servers. And they kind of said, you know, with that board coming out, it's sort of irrelevant for us to do it. And I said, no, do it, and I'll give you the way to load the stuff. You don't need their servers. So that being said, you know, it doesn't mean that it's impossible for that to come up, and I'll support anybody that wants to create that store as long as it's a central place.
Now, you mentioned earlier, Mystery Encoder, about the idea of, you know, backing up the existing iRkade store so that there would always be a way for people to have their games available if something happens and they lose their games or the UI gets corrupted or something. Is that going to be is that something that you're still working on, or is that something that's soon to be released? Or
when our board comes out, before our board is available to people to order, there will be software that you run on your computer, and you plug the board into your computer, and there will be a backup and a restore button. You click backup and it backs up your entire cabinet to your computer. You click restore and it restores your backup. That way, even if you do mod it and you say, well, okay, something official happened, or Yong did something, or somebody bought the servers, and you want to join that ecosystem, go back to stock and get the update from them. Click the restore button and go back.
And now,
I had a question for Mystery Encoder because you might know this more than me. So the preloaded games on the cabinet, is it just are those games on the cabinet itself and it installs, or do they all have to be downloaded again from the server?
They're on the cabinet, but the configurations for them are on the fucking server. So when you click the button, it tries to reach out to their server, which is why it tells you if you're offline, you can't install them.
So it has to check the verification on
the
the
server.
server.
It has to download crap from their server, yeah, unfortunately. Even though it's not those games themselves. Those games can be installed without that.
So what happens when these servers no longer exist?
You won't be able to install the preloaded games, but if they're already installed and you use the backup method of our software, then they will be restored once you restore from that backup.
Okay. Yeah, well, that makes perfect
backing up the state of your cabinet as it is, right? Every game that's installed will still be installed. Every configuration that you set will still be exactly the way it is. It's like, have any of you ever upgraded a hard drive and cloned the data to another hard drive?
Okay.
Yeah.
Same concept, except you're cloning an image to your computer and then you're restoring that image back on the cabinet. So let's say your board goes bad and you buy a new board. So you just restore the old stuff from your other board to this board, and then there you go.
So it's like a save state for your image, right?
Yeah, there's an exception with the board thing. That may not work actually because the device ID changes and your stuff's licensed to that device.
So you did mention also the idea of being able to, add stuff your existing cabinet without any boards or anything else. Is that something that's, you said that, but you said that's going to be limited. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, you won't be able to back it up.
Okay.
You'll be able to add stuff. So I don't want to say it yet. There's stuff that we can do that will make some people happy. One of them is disabling the whoosh sound.
Man,
there's
that
some
was
other
terrible.
stuff that you might see that people can do to their own cabinets potentially. That's kind of cool. And
Nice.
sort of promote that. And there will be stuff that kind of comes out as these boards are made available to certain streamers and stuff. Okay, so I have to clarify on that. We are giving boards to streamers ahead of time because we have a limited run. However,
what a shock.
However, it's not some internal fucking circle bullshit where I'm gonna pick sides and be like, well, KonsoleFanboy isn't getting one because I like the iRcadians and I don't like this asshole.
Okay, well, good.
So I'm not choosing or picking sides. Like, obviously, B's going to get one. He's been promoting me to have a platform to mod cabinets on since the beginning, even after people, told him to take videos down. He didn't do it. OTG's helped our team out a lot. He's given one of our guys something even.
Nice. OTG, all right, for sure.
So
it's I support this community big time, whatever little ways I can.
Well, I got
I just want to be clear that I don't want an iRkade from you, Mystery.
I didn't say it was going to be an
iRkade. Okay. Just wanted to ask dog shit.
Wait, what?
That's okay.
Zahar fool. I got a question for Mr. Encoder. Opinion question. Why do you think so many people get so bent out of shape about piracy, quote unquote, in this community? But in the act games, we all sharing tips and we doing one sauce groups and Reddit sauce and all this. I mean, people are enhancing their cabs and there's no negative connotation to it. But it seems like one comment and everybody's up in arms. What's your thoughts on that as to why?
I think that it's cultism.
Yeah.
It's oh man, it goes so much deeper than that. Don't let me do the
I'm leaving it there. That's my answer for you.
All right, well, I'll take that.
It's a complicated subject, but at the end of the day, somebody pushed an agenda and others followed.
Got it. Echo chamber. I got it.
Until they say it's okay, and then everybody,
Yeah, I mean,
right, Toxin. Yeah.
Let's put it this way: if the U.S. government told you that it was legal to go download movies and music, right? If they said, you know what, we're not going to stop this; it's 100% legal. Yet creators are hurt by this. You're going to have two sides of it.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I already have a PC that can play all these games. I have Fightcade. I pulled Metal Slug a million times. I would still go on the iRkade and still pay for the games that I can play on every other machine. So, I think a lot of people wanted to support these guys, regardless of whether we could play them for free.
And that's what a lot of people in this community have been supporting with the Circus Interstellar thing. They're like, you know what? If you download it on your cabinet, go support these guys. Buy the game on Steam. They were never given the opportunity to sell it. And that's morally acceptable, right? Like, even though it might be wrong to quote unquote pirate it, you're still trying to promote and give these developers money, and that's fair.
And if I'm right, that game's been out for a few years under Killer Clowns. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or is it? And there's basically a remake of that. But if I read it correctly, the devs said they can't support it on iRkade right now, so they're gonna move over to Steam in the next few weeks.
So those guys are actually extremely awesome. I talk to them on Discord a lot. They do want to still bring it to the iRkade for anybody that's using our platform.
Wow, that's
amazing. I would support them $15 on the Steam page.
That's
they gave out a bunch of they gave out some codes yesterday. I think it was yesterday. They gave out
don't stop him from still getting the game out if he's still giving out codes for people to get.
That's not their fault. That's the subject.
Toxin, you done got
no. I'm not saying it's their fault. Jong is giving out codes to people.
Yeah,
to still give out
unfortunately,
the game.
they're the subject and victims of whatever it is Jong or Michael or whoever else the company allows them to do.
Under the spell.
Yeah, Mr. Mensa. Hey, no, I'm agree with Mr. Encoder because Jong is a shade. He a shade tree motherfucker. He's shady because Prince already told him. You saw the exchange between him and Prince. Prince was told, "Hey, we're gonna give codes to you. Give us a list of device IDs." Prince did that, and
Well,
Jong
am I missing
did
the point that there's a bias with the freaking owner that he's
it is
only
a bias.
giving out games to specific people?
No. It was Jong that flipped the script. remember him and Prince.
He's
had
the owner.
discussion.
I'm talking
John.
about the owner of the business.
Well, he should have
So I have my own speculation regarding that too. So I'm sorry, I don't know your name. The guy that left of me, Creole.
Oh, Creole. Yep, Creole.
You work for Bash, right?
Yeah.
How can you answer how long ago Metal Slug was tested?
Man, Metal Slug, man, it's probably 2 years. This thing been out. We've been knowing about this. Been out.
Speculation. The reason why I asked that question, there's something to follow on to that. Why did it remain on their servers? Because they were. My speculation, again, I don't know this for fact, but probably because John or whoever worked there was loading it on their own cabinets or their friends' cabinets, even though they didn't own the license.
Probably Michael S. Yeah, because Michael S. would.
They publicly say they're so against this, yet.
Yeah.
Why was it still there if other things that existed and were in development weren't removed?
So to that point, Michael S. would brag. Now this ain't nothing I'm making up, folks. Michael S. would brag in streams. Oh, I've gotten Crazy Taxi to run on my machine. He said, this ain't nothing I'm making up.
Yep, I remember.
Am I lying, fellas?
No, I remember.
I honestly feel like that's one of the reasons they were upset about the web extension.
You busted. You got busted. That's
because
Metal Slug was on the system. I saw Metal Slug on the iRkade in that one. There was a party. There was a party on the roof. Remember? Yeah. And they had Metal Slug on the UI. I saw.
That was in LA, KFB. You were supposed to come. Yeah. That was the game and brew that we had here.
So that's why I question if the reason they got vindictive or protective over the fact that web extension was released or there was data that was on the store that wasn't made public originally was because they got busted with having stuff they weren't supposed to.
So they didn't want.
Makes perfect sense.
Spot on. You got it right. That's what it is. Because
so they didn't want SNK Playmore to find out that they were privately pirating their games that they told them they couldn't have a license.
We wasn't supposed to put out Metal Slug.
They were against piracy.
Metal Slug wasn't supposed to be out.
Do you know, Creel, do you know why they never released Metal Slug?
All I can speak on is an internal license. Licenses changed hands. That's all I can speak on. So when you have a license,
based on speculation, I heard.
All right, well, let's hear what Joe spec. Because Mr. Mensa, I might have it wrong.
Not be released on that platform due to the fact that they had agreements with SNK or something along those lines. Is something a rumor.
No. That makes a lot of sense.
I was just looking at real time. Glenn's complaining about me on the iRkade community right now.
Well, I ain't worried about that.
So
I ain't worried
now
about
that
that.
I know that he's hot about something, now I know I'm onto his trail. Thank you for Glenn for confirming.
Thanks, Glenn. But Emmy, I can't. Like I said, I
don't expect you to, man.
Yeah, all I know is that licenses change hands.
Yeah.
So is iRkade,
but there's not very many competitors in this industry where one of them would prevent the other from releasing it on a cabinet. So logically, process of elimination, there's only one person or one company that would go after it to the extent that they wouldn't want it released on this platform. So
my
Messiah,
question
where
is
this? Where is that? Where you see about Glen?
Oh, let Toxin real quick.
So my thing is iRkade one of buying licenses for games that they don't plan on releasing just to keep?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Then.
Or do they plan on dropping the cabs at one point and we just don't know yet?
I think that Arcade 1UP is just slow to move on some things.
Yeah.
Some of it might be limitations of the current hardware that they have or the current software they have.
Yeah.
So they just want to get ahead of it and just have it.
Yeah, they want to acquire it before a competitor gets it because they want to make sure that they have it when they want it and need it. And is that Console Kits? That's Console Kits, isn't it?
It's Console Kits. What's going
on? Console Kits. What's up,
Wait a minute.
First time I've ever been on a stream at the same time as you.
We're different people.
So
wait, no, we were on a stream with B once, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Did Console Kits hit it big at the auction last night? Because I struck out. What's up? Tell me something good.
So I got a Vuelix.
Nice.
1100. That was my top. That was my top price. I was hoping for 900, but literally everything that I bid on,
those are good.
I got like the second highest, and I was like, I can't go.
So Console Kits,
I was like, I can't go higher.
So make me feel better about myself. Were you going against me on that Moonwalker cab? I know it wasn't Ralph.
Nope, that wasn't me.
Okay, all right.
That went high. It was like above 4,000, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah, I tapped out at 2,000.
Nobody cares about arcades. We're here to destroy a company.
We sorry.
Okay, so.
Hey, wait a minute.
Please.
So hard. We over here.
We're here to
hold on. Let me tell you one more thing that I missed out on.
Modern games forever.
Check this out.
Fine.
So there was a
the fuck?
Everyone likes Crazy Taxi, right? That's a great game.
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
The great deals at are after you fall asleep. So the game of Captain is, can you stay awake? That's the real game. Okay.
Facts.
So I could not stay awake. It was 3 a.m. my time, and I had to go. So I threw out a bid, $500 on a Crazy Taxi.
Did you get that?
Because if I got that, that'd be good, right? It sold for $600.
Oh, you can't. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, Zohar, but that sit down Crazy Taxi went for $6. Man, I'm done.
Yep.
You can't sleep at an auction.
Can't sleep.
Who cares about arcades, man? It's 2023. What are we doing here?
I actually would like to see that.
Zohar, I was gonna sell you my Cruising USA. Now you want to be mean.
That's different. No, that's different. That's different. That's different.
Selective politics. Selective politics.
Exactly. I don't care. I don't care.
Run and gun too, Captain.
I don't know.
Run and gun too.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. Sorry,
No, stop being done, man. You're done every 5 minutes. You leave the just stay, man. Fucking stay. Fuck.
Hey, but KFB, you want to talk about real arcades, but I was
No,
gonna let
I just-
you get the Cruising USA.
That's different. Everything else sucks.
Nah,
Nothing else is worth talking about.
Hey, kid.
All right. Well, you know what? I want to get Justin's view on all of this since you're here on the stream.
You missed a lot, Justin.
I don't know how much of this you've been watching, Justin, but what do you think about this iRkade controversy?
Okay, so I'm going to come from a position of ignorance for sure. So let me give me my disclaimers, the whole thing. I watched the stream where they said, we're going bankrupt. So I watched probably, I don't know, a good hour, and I don't remember how long the stream was. I did have to cut out at the end, but it was after he already said Glen's coming in with the product and we're endorsing that and all that. Then I read his post today, and I don't know many people's take on it. So I haven't been following much of the content, most of the podcasts.
So he realized that he's an idiot, and P-Dub said that he's an idiot, and he deleted the post. Just like most iRcadians, they delete everything that they do within minutes of figuring out that they're idiots. So that's what happened.
I will
John
Send us a screenshot
deleted
so
his
we have all
post.
the receipts.
I have a perspective.
Look at OTG.
I don't know if
What?
anyone,
Stop censoring me, OTG. I can say whatever I want.
Let Justin talk. We're trying to show Justin respect. He's doing a different point. Let him talk.
the perspective that I have that's interesting is a couple of years ago, Mad Little Pixel made a video. Do you guys remember? Mad Little Pixel does not cover the iRkade very much.
I remember that, yeah.
But he's done like 2 or 3 videos. And I find it interesting whenever a larger content creator of the size of Mad Little Pixel decides to take on a topic in a smaller community. So I was like, what does he have to say on this topic? And what he called out years ago is Yong's position on piracy. Go look at those posts.
That's facts.
I remember. Yeah.
Yep, that's facts. He did. He did.
Then I read his post last night or whatever, and I was like, something super familiar.
Yeah, hypocrisy.
And remember, he responded to Mad Little Pixel saying, basically implying, I couldn't find quote what he said, but he implied that he did not write that. That almost
wow.
It was alluded to.
Wow.
A marketing.
He blamed an
company.
employee.
Right.
Sorry.
Who, Messiah?
But that marketing he did years ago that's basically saying Pi is illegal and anyone who owns a Pi, that's essentially the gist of it. It doesn't have any apostrophes, no apostrophes on anything.
Wait, does he say my family at any, my friend or my family at anyone? Then you'll know it's Yong.
But you go look at Yong's post from yesterday. He doesn't there's no apostrophe on any contraction. Like don't.
Oh.
Which is not a common
Okay.
thing. Most people add a little, not a comma, but apostrophe, right? And I'm like, that Yong wrote the post. Yong's post yesterday or whatever it was, and his stance on piracy, which is supposed to be like not him, who he backpedaled and said that was not him with the Mad Little Pixel. It's clearly him, right?
I called Chat
Yeah,
GPT.
I saw Justin in the group when you posted what you posted right before they booted me out for asking the questions that I asked.
That's right. I was like, basically, that was my way of saying this is the same guy. But I didn't call it out because I thought he would delete my post.
You would have got your post would have got deleted and you would have got kicked out of the group.
But I wanted to post a tweet of like, do you remember this same person? Now, here's the thing. I don't care what anyone's view is on piracy. I don't care if you support it. I don't care if you don't support it. I don't care if Yong supports it or not. But what I can see is there's huge inconsistency. And what I think is going on is Yong will go as far as to say piracy is bad because the pressure of the publishers, not because he genuinely feels that there's something wrong with downloading games.
Yeah.
He won't be a part of it if he could get caught. So
why ad games don't have that same thing? I don't get it.
While he's saying that he builds a platform that only supports developers, right? And then he made a marketing post a couple of years ago saying, look, piracy is evil. And here's where I feel like he goes too far. And this might be my personal beliefs that I'm extending to other people. I think it's wrong to call out customers. This is Metallica days, Napster days, where you're like, you're a bad person for downloading our music.
Amen.
I think that's too far. Like, okay, yes, it takes away from, but don't call out individuals. There's a huge difference than walking into a convenience store and stealing a candy bar. That's like straight up theft. And the DMCA laws were designed for copyright and things like that. But like has been pointed out by many other people, there's assumptions about how DMCA works, and people are using that as like saying you're a criminal. You're a criminal for thinking about downloading games, and that is incorrect. That is.
Well, there's also some of those games that are old enough that they've even aged out of having intellectual property rights anymore.
Yep.
Right. Well, my question was what Creel said with At Games, because At Games they've had a license with Sega for a long time. Like they've made, you go to Rite Aid and they have those mini Genesis clones where you could put the cartridge in, but they've been sideloading ROMs into that for a long time. And even after they've been sideloading on those little things, Sega still had the partnership with them to release the mini before they pulled out and went with M2. So I'm not really sure.
I don't get it.
I guess maybe because it's a smaller company, they didn't want to have that kind of issues with.
Yeah, I think it was just a business practice. They wanted to be like different. They wanted to be like, we're the legal. And
they thought that they
games has always been.
They thought that they wouldn't be able to maintain or obtain relationships with licensors if they even promoted or supported that whatsoever. Yeah, so your public image has to be that.
100%. But here's where they go too far. No publisher or licensor wants you
to
go after your customers and say that they're criminals.
Exactly.
That's where you're crossing the line. Where you're like, don't call people criminals.
And that's part
especially
of what I
because
in my response to John.
Yeah, you pointed that out in your response, Mystery, and I pointed that out too. I said, I think a lot of it is a misunderstanding, especially when it came to the fact that the thing that the exploit that you posted, Mystery Encoder, was being promoted by prominent home arcade YouTubers throughout the community. So it was almost as if it was 100% endorsed. So for them to
that is where it's not licensors' influence or anything else. Why was it posted after the company supposedly bankrupt? Why would he go to attack someone in this community? One of the things I mentioned on Discord about them that disappointed me is that in today's world, and Justin can vouch for this, there's vulnerability disclosure programs. There's, hackers aren't evil, man. Hacker is not bad.
Yeah.
Hacker is promoting.
This is like decades old that some
hacker is
CEO of a technical company should know.
Yeah.
Hacking or hackers are curious people that want to explore, and they will find issues with your stuff. And a lot of them in today's world operate ethically. And that means if you have the appropriate disclosure program, you will find out about these vulnerabilities and you will patch them before they're abused for nefarious purposes or malicious purposes. Their stance on it, and his stance in his post, hackers are bad, don't support hackers, don't support people like Mystery Encoder, hacker man bad, evil.
Tell that to your kid. Tell that to your kid and see if they grow up to be curious.
Right now, hey, to your point, even the military, and this is public record, they're advertising a hacker-sat to see who is good at hacking. This ain't nothing that's a bad thing now.
The Air Force. So
like the Air Force, bingo, the Air Force. They
for
promote
the finals of that, it's actually going to be a real satellite.
Space Command.
Space Command right here. So they promote that.
Yeah, and guys, with that, I want to welcome Glen from GRS onto the panel. Glen,
what's up, Glen?
Glen, you have I'm sure you have an interesting perspective yourself, since everybody is anticipating your upcoming projects for the iRkade. What's your view on what's going on, Glen? Thank you for coming.
Oh, no problem. First, can you hear me? I'm on my phone, so can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't even know where you guys have been on for a while. I don't know anything that's going on right now, but I'll just say from my standpoint, the whole thing with iRkade shutting down just bothered me personally, because a lot of people spend a lot of money on these machines, and they weren't cheap. These machines are not cheap.
Agreed.
And people spend a lot of money, and it is a closed system. I know that Team Encoder hopefully can fix that, but as it stands as of like today, it's a closed system. So whatever games you have on there, and again, you can have quite a few games on there. My last count had 90 games on it, so I have quite a few games on there. And if you buy like an arcade one-up, maybe you get 1 or 3 or 4 games. So it depends how you look at it as far as that goes. But it's still a closed system. Some people literally just bought $2.99 the bar top. You just got it in the mail, and then maybe the next day you find out that the company just went belly up.
Yep.
So for me personally, being someone who enjoys games, who again, people spend the hard-earned money on this stuff. I mean, some people have money, they can throw at this all day long, and there's people that don't have a lot of money. So maybe this is the only machine they could even get, and they were hoping to make this their machine that the kids would play all these great games on. So when I found out they were going belly up, I talked to them and said, look, my control panel has been sitting dormant for like 10 months. I've been ready to go with that panel, which they were going to support. They were going to have trackball games and spinner games and so forth. So the panel was ready to go as far as that went. But they were telling me, and it's the truth, they were telling me on the legacy cabinet, the only way to get the controller to work was over Bluetooth. There was no other way to get it on there, period. So I took it as a word. Once they were going under, found another way out. I found a way, and Team Encoder can back this up. There is a way to get USB on the legacy cabinet. And I'm going to use that exploit, and I'm going to help still continue along getting the standard Sinden light guns working on the legacy cabinets for those people who want to be able to use Sinden light guns in the legacy cabinet, because why should they be left in the dark? The people, there's some gold cabinets out there, which is great, and they're touting Operation Wolf. And I don't know if any of you played Operation Wolf on the joystick. That is not
great game.
That is not how to play a damn game with a joystick. And if anyone knows me, from day one, I'm about the user experience, controllers, how you interface to the game, how you play the game. You shouldn't have to think about the controller. You should simply be there playing the game. And playing a joystick with a game that's not designed for a joystick was no good. So long story short, I wanted to make sure people with the legacy cabinets could still use Sinden light gun technology. My control panel will have USB ports. We're actually going to have 4. 2 external, so you can plug in 2 Sinden light guns, 2 internal for future expansion. I'm hoping that people who bought this machine will have a long longevity with the machine. Now, again, if Team Encoder can make the internal board work the way he hopes, my SBC probably won't even need it, in which case you won't even need my SBC. But I want people to have that option, because what if happens if your board does die? You have your iRkade and the board does die, burns out. Things happen. Thunderstorms. How many people have lost a computer in a thunderstorm?
That's
right?
True.
So I just want to have the
a quick
option.
question.
Sure.
Quick question. By the way, hi Glenn, big fan of your products.
Thank you.
So
I know
welcome.
you.
Yeah, I know it. So quick question. I just wanted to ask, I'm sure this is on everyone's mind. How long did you know that iRkade was bankrupt or about to go bankrupt? Did you know that like a week ago, the day, a month ago? Did you have any
I found out
knowledge
about
of that whatsoever?
About 2 weeks before, because I was about to do my pre-order. My pre-order was all set to go. I had gotten the green light, and then all of a sudden they called me, and they said, Glenn, listen, we need to have a talk with you. I said, what? I said, is this good news or bad news? They go, well, it's not good news. They were basically, because before you go, they were trying to prevent me from doing all this production on the boards, getting everything ready to go. So they told me not to do the pre-order. So I knew 2 weeks beforehand. And with that being said, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So follow-up question. So you knew 2 weeks before. That's exactly the same time when Yong had a stream saying that they're looking for offices. Why do you think he couldn't just say 2 weeks ago when he had that stream saying that he's looking for offices to let everyone know that, hey, we're about to go bankrupt, instead of having maybe 40 or 50 people buy an iRkade for $2.99 on their site? Why do you think
I can answer that so easily. I'm not him.
Perfect.
I can't answer that.
I can.
Wow, what a safe answer.
iRkade one up. I'm not Yong.
You are.
So I really can't answer that.
So I think you just took the mayor position from P-Dubs. That's a great political answer. So
well, it's not a political thing.
Encoder has something.
Wait, hold on. It's not a political thing at all. I do not work for iRkade 1UP. All I was someone contracted to make controllers for them as a third-party person. I don't know their financials. I don't know what he had for dinner.
Can you give us an objective answer? An objective answer?
If you're asking me a question, like what did I know? I don't know. It's just that simple. People I know want to call it. This is the thing with the community that I personally gets under my skin. People want drama. People want to find the worst thing in everyone. Now, maybe John screwed everyone over. Maybe he did. But Team Encoder and me are trying to salvage this. We are trying to make the community, the machine, and the people who have this stuff enjoy it. What iRkade 1UP did behind the scenes, I don't know where they spent the money. I don't know any of that stuff. And I'm going to say something else here too. I did catch part of this before, where and Console Kids knows this. Everyone knows me knows this. This is what pissed me off about DLC content.
Hold on.
You never own
iRkade 1UP, but you mean iRkade.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. There's a far for me.
Being mean about iRkade 1UP, it's real confusing.
Yeah,
it is. That guy.
And I do that a lot. But the problem is with DLC, you never own it. Even Microsoft Windows, it's a license key. They can just take it away from you at any point in time. That's what I hate about the modern gaming, and that's what's so good about retro gaming. Physical cartridge or physical disc, you own it. When you take that stuff home, it's yours. When you have DLC, and I think what they did here, I get people took the stuff that was not properly released. I get it. Two wrongs don't make a right. You don't go into someone's machine and do that. They did it. They're gone. It's done.
You know what I think we should have more of? I think what we should have more of, and I'll end it with this. This is great what Zod is doing, because there's a lot of sides, there's a lot of back and forth. The fact that we're having Glen here, we had steps here, we had steps here earlier. This is what the community should have. Both sides come on instead of having Brooklyn, Rainwater, and Brad just hide behind the keyboard. This is what should have been done 2 years ago. Just have everybody on the show. Just have everybody on the show from both sides, and none of this would happen. So I do respect you, Glen, for coming. I do respect you, Glen, for coming. If anyone knows me,
I'm an attention whore. I'll be on anything. I mean, Console Kids.
At least you're being honest, Glen. And I own Glen products. I got Flight Stick. I got GRS Yoke. Messiah just ordered the deck. So I mean, we got your products, Glen.
I just want to say one last thing, because I do have to go to work early in the morning. I want to say one thing here. Me personally, all I care about are people enjoy the stuff that they have. If anyone looks at the price I sell my stuff for, I ain't fucking making anything on it, especially the headache afterwards.
Cuss. Oh, I like you now. You cuss.
Well, I do cuss. I'm at night, and I'm fired up because I have to work tomorrow. But all I care about ultimately, even what iRkade 1UP did to me, I'm still making the flight. I'm going to call it the 1982 stick that people had. It went to a video game movie. I still make that because even though they ripped off my stuff and built it shittily, I'm going to make sure people can still play that game with a stick that works. And I charge very little for it. And I just want to say that I'm here for all of you guys, even Console Fanboy. I know me and you have had some history.
Yeah.
But I don't hate anyone. I don't hate anyone.
Against you. I have nothing against you. It's just Brad and Jeff. Just Brad and Jeff.
Okay, and wait, guys. Mystery Encoder wanted to say something. Go ahead, Mystery Encoder.
Well, I said I hated everybody, but I also want Glen to clarify so that I don't speak for him. As far as your control deck goes, are you going to try to make an effort to get the control deck to be compatible with the board that we're introducing?
Absolutely. I am more than willing to work with Team Encoder. We've been talking for a little while right now. I am more than happy to work with you guys They're trying to just, again, if you can make this thing work to the point where my SBC is not needed, I don't have no problem not releasing it. I'm not doing that to make money. I'm doing it to help people have the machine work. So if you can do that and we can sideload stuff, I'm here just to do whatever's best for the community. Whatever people want, I'm there to do.
Yeah, I'm saying in terms of the USB connectivity, because I know there's some concern in the community right now that it's going to be one or the other. Like they're going to have to remove our board to put your deck on or something.
Well, let's work together. Let's work together so it doesn't happen.
Yeah. That's
you got to
get that would be beautiful for you guys to work together and make it possible.
And then I got to get Console Kits involved and make him make the software in Electron so that it's cross-platform.
I was going to say that. I was
Console Kits. Console Kits.
I know.
Console Kits could design the new UI.
Hey, real quick, Zod. I got a message from the leader of our fearless leader of Bash Gaming, Mr. Billy McLaughlin. He would like to come speak his piece too.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to head out, but I just want to end in one thing. I appreciate what you guys are doing for the third party. I mean, we've seen just one company right now really make it official and say they're bankrupt, and seeing the support Zohar, even though I know you hate this company, but the fact they're supporting someone that is just done and keeping the community alive, who knows? It's home arcade. All of this could be gone, but knowing that there's people out there that work really hard to keep the community still playing their products, I appreciate what you guys do.
Well, you know what? We just said this perfect, but I'm going to add on top of that. We're a community. We all love the same thing. It's gaming. If that's what we just all focus on, enjoying the game.
Some people like games? Different games. It's the quality of the games. Let's be real.
I'm just saying in general, we're all gamers. We all want to enjoy and share this stuff. We all have a very common thing here. We just got the hate go away.
That's not true. Okay. According to Yong, Team Encoder and Glen enable criminals. That's what we all have in common. That's all the discussion. Criminals.
Well, wait. I have the Adventures of Rabbit Road licensed.
Yeah, but you sell products.
Really?
Talking about the one on Build-A-Cade?
I do. But hey, you know what? Here's the other thing too. Kids, here's the other thing. My SBC is going to be a Linux board. You could definitely take and put on your own license stuff. When you say pirated stuff, that's up to the individual. If someone gives you a car, you can drive it to work. You can run over 5 people and kill them.
Well,
that's what you do with the product.
You release a front end script, a tamper monkey script, and it was up to the individual to press that button.
And that's correct.
That button. Did they actually become criminals when they pressed that button?
No, they probably sold a lollipop out of the dentist's office when they weren't looking. Before
Glen,
that,
I have a final question. I'll drop it forever and ever. Why do you think John should have told us 2 weeks ago? That's my question. Do you think John should have just said in the stream 2 weeks ago? What would you have done if you were in his position?
I'll answer that question because I think Glenn already covered that he doesn't know what John's...
Exactly. You're asking me to ask... You might as well ask me why is the President of the United States doing a rotten job in the country? Well, he's an idiot, but I can't say why he does what he does.
John is very...
Glenn, give me a soundbite, Glenn. I need to clip this for my next video.
The only clip I can give you, kids... I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm sorry. No Console Fanboy. The only clip I can give you is the only person who can answer that question is the person you're asking about. That's the only person. Anything else outside of that is to be drama and take it out of context.
He probably needed 2 weeks to figure out what he was going to say.
I'm with Justin on that. That dude, he knew. He just
incorrect.
They were out of money, but just because they were out of money doesn't mean they were immediately.
Well, how's it incorrect?
They were seeking investors. They even said an investor backed out at the last minute. Like that, obviously, if your company doesn't have money, you don't know that you're going to file for bankruptcy. You know that it's a potential. But if you are seeking out investors, you're not going to tell people until all of your options fall through.
Right.
Car's not going to get repoed until you don't pay for it, but you can still go 2 months without paying for it.
Correct.
When the Form D is filed, does that mean that they got the funds, or is that just something willy-nilly?
Well, I wanted to ask Glenn. Can you say where we are at right now with the pre-orders so far?
The last check a little while ago, we're at 488.
Oh, you're almost there. Great.
Congratulations. Hopefully, get it.
Thanks. And again, the reason I did it the way I did it was because if the community says, we're done walking away from it, that'd have been it. It would have been no shirt off my back. But I want to help people who want it. And again, with Team Encoder doing his thing, if we can get games that will accept trackballs and spinners and the Star Wars yoke and things, that's great. And if not, and you still want to use my SBC, you can use them that way. It's all, I hate to use the term, it's all about possibilities. I'm not sure if that was one of John's saying, but he's not around anymore, so I'll steal it. It is about possibilities. And to be quite honest, Arcade 1-Up, Ad Games, iRkade, ones you build yourselves, we're kidding ourselves if we think people don't have pirated games right now. You find me one person in this stream who didn't download MAME, Pac-Man, Rally X. It's done already. So I can't stand when people are high and mighty saying we're pirates. That's bullshit, because in this community, that stuff's out there already.
That's one of the things we mentioned here, was that we're pretty sure that the reason Metal Slug was still on their servers, despite the fact that it was being tested 2 years ago, was because they were doing exactly that internally.
Right.
Yeah, we've all bought these games hundreds of times already, so it's not like.
Exactly. And that is the other thing too, because a lot of these games, I own them. I own like 5 different copies of Donkey Kong. I got it on the NES. I got all these different copies on it, but you can't get the original, can you? Nintendo is just not going to release it, and we're supposed to let that ROM just die out and become bits on the floor, and no one will play that game again. If Nintendo was to release a Donkey Kong cabinet, let me tell you right now, I'd be the first in line to grab it, whether it be a full size, a quarter scale, whatever. I love that game. Nintendo's just not going to do it. So we supposed to be. I probably put in thousands of dollars in Donkey Kong alone from 1982 until now, 1981, whatever it came out. I think it was 82, right? Donkey Kong. But the point is, some of these games you cannot even get. Period. Like, I love the game. It's on the it is on the iiRcade. It was Naughty Boy.
No,
not the most popular game out there.
God,
I love
that
that
game
game.
sucked. Oh, that game.
I love that game.
What's it called?
No, you don't. No, you
Naughty
don't. Glenn.
Boy.
You don't like that. You don't like that game. Stop it.
No, Glenn, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to not be a pirate and pay $10,000 for an extremely rare cartridge.
It has to be graded too.
Question, real quick. Is the iRcade security simply not populating that USB port, essentially, and then you just put on the USB port and then connect ADB? And is it more than that?
Yes.
Does that involve any type of actual violation of DMCA? Like, is there any encrypting keys involved?
No.
Glitch? It's all like legit hacking?
Yes.
There you go. So in other words, it's not a closed system.
It's plus technically, even if there was encryption keys that were being messed with as a result, it still falls within DMCA exemptions because it's a discontinued system. So for the sake of preservation.
Right.
He sounds like he did a lot of disservice to the people who had license on the cabinet.
What I will say is the only thing iRkade ever did with their quote-unquote security updates is made it more difficult for consumers to use their cabinets the way they wanted to.
And that is something I will say that, when they did tell me what was going down, I was like, well, can we revert to older firmware? Can we go to older firmware, which was a little more accessible? And they kept saying no. And that's why I said, okay, if you're going to lock it down, then it's going to be this type of a system. Again, I didn't know Team Encoder had done all these other things. That's why I was going with the switching mode, going to the original machine as it was and go to another one, because I was told by them, and from what I saw, like, here's an example. When we first announced the partnership and they announced their gold machine and I got a gold cabinet, first thing I did is I plugged in my spinner, my trackball, and my Star Wars yoke.
Yep.
When I did that, I got a mouse cursor. As soon as they saw that, they ripped all that code out.
Yep.
So
you guys see Justin facepalm? 90% of the communication is HTTP.
What? Oh, you mean you just so your level of effort is Wireshark on a network, and you're like, hey, DNS call, everything's in the clear. I can see everything the backend server's doing.
Yeah, so the non-hardware solution is for you to hotspot your PC, connect the cabinet to your PC, connect to a VPN that has a static route tied to the VPN, and then it downloads applications to your cabinet to hack it.
Mystery Encoder just gave away the magic unicorn.
I have a quick question.
The keys, you're going to do some type of
a quick question.
Sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
Glenn, how much does it cost to make your deck?
Oh, you said deck. Whew. I was a little concerned. I might have a girl on the line. Well, I will say
how much?
Like the honest answer is, I'm selling it for $169.99, and I'm not making a dime.
You should. Okay, it's a good quality deck.
Well, here's the thing. The deck has a future outside of iRkade. I'll put it to you that way. So basically, like with Heavy Metal Titans and the other people who release games for free on the iRkade, I'm just trying to help the iRkade community to not feel like they got a machine that's dead.
What do you think of Heavy Metal Titans? Be honest.
I'm in the game, so I'm going to say the honest truth, man. You guys will suck. You can't beat me.
Oh my God! Just say it's shit, Glenn.
You know what? Okay. That's irrelevant. Okay, old man.
You're talking to General Glen Platimento here, man. Be careful.
Old man Ruckus, what's on the stream, man? What's up to you, man? What's your take on all this nonsense?
Oh man, so I've been one super big fan of Mr. Encoder. We've been talking a lot over the past few days, shared some stuff and back and forth, and it definitely helped me get some insight. I was trying to provide some things where hopefully some missing puzzle pieces for him. But for what he's doing, what Glen's doing, I feel like what Mr. Encoder did when he released the hack and Tank Bash was zooming. My servers were kind of going overload. I'm like, wait a second, these are like, I was like, I'm seeing a lot of things. Then that's when I saw the hack came out, and then I saw people with Tank Bash. And then initially, we were going to release it, but we had issues where Tank Bash actually bricked my first iRkade. So I had to, and I found out what it was in the server back end, and then we started working on other stuff. So I really never got back to it. But once I saw people wanted to actually play it, I went back to the server. I gave it some more resources and to have a ball. So, super big ups to Mr. Encoder for that, because that was super clutch. And then we released it on Steam. So, that was big for us. That was a huge help, but with everything that's going on with everything from there and with everything on iRkade, I gotta say, I my heart goes out to Yong. I hope he recovers from what's happening. I'm super hyped for Glen's deck. When that's coming out, I'm super hyped for a lot of what's coming next, and I'm hoping more that the iRkade the iRkade itself becomes more of an open platform versus one static hardware.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say that the tank battle game was a little bit fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the 30 seconds that I got to play it.
I hated it. No, I'm just kidding, Bill. That was not bad. Yeah. Since you're here, I'm gonna say it's great.
No, but Bill, I do have a question for you. What's up with that bowling game, man?
What's wrong with that?
Well, it was just like it was so at first. It was so difficult just to control, just to play it, and there were subsequent updates, and there was some more. It seemed like there was some more stuff that you had planned
on that
for that game. Is there something that you still have planned for a future update that we'll probably never see since the iRkade, unless this stuff with Mr. Encoder comes true?
So I don't know if you see on the screen, Kane Creehole. If I start talking about this, he's going to shut me down. So I can't go into specifics about that. But I can say the next update for bowling, will probably knock iRkade users back to only be able to play with iRkade users.
Okay. Well, you know what, guys? I wanna start wrapping this up a little bit, because this has been going on for quite a while. So I kind of want to get everybody's final thoughts here. So I'm going to start with Mystery Encoder, since you were gracious enough to come on, and I just want to say that I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to whatever you're going to do for the iRkade in the future. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff. And you're definitely contributing to the longevity of the cap. So is there anything that you would like to say?
Not really. I think I've said a lot in 3 hours that we've been on here. I would like Dustin to message me. He can message our Facebook page or something so that we can try to work on something that's multi-platform. I think that helps ultimately when we do release our software, the community, because not everybody is going to have a Windows computer or a Mac computer or whatever. And then if any developers end up watching this, I want to let them know that we do want to support them. We do want to keep their DRM in place and make it to where it won't be easy to pirate those games if they decide to continue to release them for the platform. Meaning that if you create an APK and we give you a developer portal of some sort where it encrypts it specifically for that cabinet, people won't be able to share it. It'll still be the same as the ecosystem that existed previously. And yeah, so if Squashbug wants to update Heavy Metal Titans, they just said it was essentially a beta, then yeah, I'd like to facilitate that happening. And then there's also been discussion in the community about, Old Man Ruckus himself, as well as some others, have stated that they want to create some central store for people. And if that happens, I'm all for it, and I'll embrace it, and I'll find a way to help them get it to where it deploys things to the cabinets for people.
Okay, well, great. Thank you very much, Mr. Encoder. Appreciate it. Glenn, are you still here, man?
I am. I'm a little calmer now.
All right, man. Well, I just wanted to give you a chance to give your final thoughts. A lot of us are looking forward to your deck and your upcoming projects. Is there any other final thoughts you want to make?
Just like kind of said before, is number one, I'm very willing and happy to work with Team Encoder and their solution and integrating that into our stuff. I have no problem doing with that. I'm hoping what's best for the community, and that's why I put the questions out there. And that's really it. I'm just here to help keep these things going, and I'll work with anyone to make sure that happens. And I appreciate you guys allowing me on the show. Good group here. And long live the iRkade. What's it still saying? The iRkade is dead. Long live the iRkade. There we go.
No, I disagree.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you for coming on. And Old Man Ruckus, I know you just got here, man. But if there's anything you'd like to add,
so I got a couple things. One, Zohar, you got to stop hating on Heavy Metal Titans, my brother.
Sorry,
that's
my opinion.
You know I got to defend my military guys. I'm just gonna have my
opinion. I'm sorry, I have my opinions.
Yeah, but your opinion comes from fact, so maybe.
Sorry, I just have my opinions, and it is what it is. It's my opinions. It's my opinions. Sorry, that's how I feel.
I'll give you that. We got a few things where I feel like within the iRkade, and this is not a slight at John. I'm definitely not going to bash him here because iRkade was my first home. Before moving on to the projects we're working on now, before the contracts we had, first was iRkade. So, after I left Unico, right to iRkade. And that's where, we started everything and we ended it out there, with the way the Take Backs got released. I wish we could have got Zone Blaster out, but Zone Blaster pretty much destroyed King Creole's iRkade because it was just too much for it. So it was, I feel like with the community as it is, with Team Encoder's super, knowledge of what's happening in the background, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it, but I guarantee you, he probably didn't even talk about the best stuff. But with Glen pushing out the new deck, that's going to be super awesome. I'm waiting for it, and again, I feel like the iRkade itself isn't dead. I feel like the iRkade company, might be going down, and I feel like that. John and Mike might come back with, super software updates, something like Polykate does. But I do feel like that within this space, and everybody knows I'm one of the few people who've worked with all of the arcade space. So iRkade went up on, at games. I was an employee at games. So with this stuff coming, the way and opening it up only really doesn't, it's not so much as for piracy because all of us have 30 million ways to play Street Fighter. We have 30 million ways to get Metal Slug. For me, I didn't give a shit that people got Metal Slug, whatever. I didn't care. But, my whole thing was that we all have different ways to play it. And the developers who really put time to the iRkade, because it's different, and because At Games doesn't have that infrastructure yet, and they're, PK is working on it, it's nowhere else for us to go for arcade, indie development. And well, we got the EX0, but even that's kind of hard to get into. So, with this and with Mr. Encoder and Glen opening it up and, getting that collaboration in, that's really going to help guys like us. It's going to help Renzo with Hidden Middle Titan. It's going to help the guys with Circus Interstellar. It's really going to help us get our games in the platform that we want to get to, for the arcade side. Because, some of us did move on to, the big consoles. That's what we're working on now. But this is where our home was. This is my roots. And, my roots are in this space. Zod, you were the first interview I ever had.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, for the MVSX. The MVSX, right?
So you of all people know where I started. So this is my home, and I'm willing to do and work with anybody to protect my home and make sure. And I don't mean just iRkade. I mean this space. This is my community. And I don't claim ownership of it. I claim a membership. I claim I'm here just like everybody else. I'm with the Hex. And everybody who knows me knows I'll not only hack my own stuff, I'll give you our stuff for free if you don't want to pay for it. And it's it's probably a horrible business model, but I just like the fact that people want to play the games. Yeah. And I'll give you the game to play, no matter how you need to get it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Toxin, your final thoughts, sir.
Yeah, I got a couple final thoughts. So first of all, I do like Heavy Metal Titans. That's like it reminds me of like a Adult Swim type of game. The first boss, the Gene's Bomb Shop, that was kind of rough, but no, I like it. It's interesting. It's not bad. I've been playing it. But yeah, so it's not the best game, but I like it. I haven't, whenever it's a free game, I played it. It's all right. But a couple of things, like the community, it's rough, man, because you do have cool people in here, and you see what happens. Like I've never said anything to Brad or none of these guys. I just never said anything, and he came on the stream and said, called me a clown. Like he said, we're all clowns except for Mystery Encoder.
Well, he called us a hate group, which I didn't.
Yeah, and a hate, and so that's the stuff that I try to avoid. Like it's unfortunate. There's people that really just want to play the games and enjoy the games, and then you get stuff like that. B Kong went on a stream, and then they attacked him because he threatened to sell his iRkade. Which, if you want to sell your stuff, you can do whatever you want with it. So, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, Tech Buzz because he wanted to sell. If he wants to sell his arcade because his kids don't play with it, that's no reason to attack the man, and that's got to stop. So I just, I never had an issue with guys. They don't want to be part of that nonsense, and I just stepped away from it. And then it still goes on. But I bought the arcade machine like everybody else. I bought it, I put it on credit, and then 2 weeks later, I'm still paying for it, and they're out of business, and it sucks. It is what it is. But I hope Mr. Encoder and Glen work on that USB stuff. And it's what it is. But I feel I don't trust Yong. Me personally, I feel like there's too much nonsense with that, and I don't trust anything he says, anything that comes out. Him apologizing to Mr. Encoder, I don't trust it either. But
honesty,
for people that are for people that are in the middle, I have no reason to defend anybody when I feel like if I got screwed out of something, I'm just gonna admit it. I got gypped like everybody else. It is what it is. So I hope I get to download some more games on there and just keep using it for whatever we get out of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel good to be honest? Doesn't it feel good to be honest? It's good. All right. Sorry.
And speaking of honesty, Justin, thank you so much for coming, sir. What are your final thoughts?
So first of all, recently I've been thinking about, I think their name was iRkade, but now we can call them iiRcade because it is like piracy, like a pirate,
IIRR.
Totally
love
fits
that.
now. Like it fits.
I love that.
So I met Yong in 2020, and something was always off. I couldn't really explain it. I think back, if you watch old streams of Ralph and I was trying to explain it. He used to explain it as me being a jerk. I went to, I was kind of mean to Yong. And the reason why is I was shocked by his product. His original product looked ugly to me. And so I asked him, did he get any feedback from a group of what it looks like? Because absolutely, we got a lot of people to take a look at our product. And I was like, were they anyone from the US? And he goes, no. I was like, well, where's your market? He's like, the US. I was like, there's a disconnect between the look of your product and your market. Why did you make it this shape? He goes, well, that's the arcade that I grew up with. And I was like, well, that's not the arcade we grew up with. So this candy cab Japanese style arcade doesn't connect nostalgically to me at all. In fact, the marble design, the original look of the marble looked, I don't know what the right word is, posh to me, you know, like someone in the 80s that's rich, which is grew up poor, and I think a lot of us from the 80s grew up poor, and we went to the arcade and had only a quarter. Our mom would give us a couple quarters, and we'd play these American style arcades, and they touched our hearts. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Street Fighter, that type of thing. So he's trying to take his like memory of arcades and put it on us. So I always thought that was really weird. And then later he came out with a slightly better design, but it's just kept on looking like this is his design, that, you know, he's a CEO that wants to do it his way, and he's hoping that he can gain an audience that will like it. And I think he just made a ton of mistakes along the way. And I think that's why they failed. That's my true, honestly, when I first saw the company, they had the Series A funding. They were doing Kickstarter to gather more funds, but that fund was not used to actually fund their company. That was just like a fraction of it. And he built a community of people that were his friends. And it's just really weird. I have to be forward with it. Like, I think a lot of people like Yong because he knows exactly what to say to get you to like him, not because he's actually genuine. Because my friends don't attack me for being a criminal. I've never downloaded anything wrong on the iRkade. I didn't do the the mystery encoder hack, even if you want to call it wrong. But I'm definitely offended that while he's going bankrupt, he decides to call out the community for being criminals. Where at the same time, no offense, Glen, but your product, according to his definition, is criminal. According to
it's a criminally good deal.
And it just feels so wrong to on one side say you can't have Metal Slug through our system because publishers are pissed, but I promote Glen in the same breath.
Can I go on record saying I was the publisher for Metal Slug?
What's that?
I said, can I go on record saying I was the publisher for Metal Slug? So I'm very not pissed about this.
As the publisher for Metal Slug, why didn't Metal Slug get officially released?
So I'll talk about this one. This was actually, the big thing with Metal Slug, why we couldn't release it. We were originally going to. As you guys can see, it was pretty much done. There was a couple things we want to do in the back end to make it more like time for it. But it was when we got the rights to do Metal Slug, we had the paper signed. They went through a change in ownership. When they went through the change in ownership, they actually told us, we need more money from you. And I was like, well, that wasn't what we, agreed on initially. This, we were supposed to give you guys a split of this money, and it was going to be a bigger split than normal. And even iRkade was willing to cut their royalties down just so we could get us in there. But ultimately, they said they needed more money, and I'm kind of a cold black dude from West Philly, so I didn't have it. So, we just couldn't release it. I had to apologize to the community.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Well,
But
yeah,
that's the only reason why.
I think they're over, and I'm glad they're over. I know that sounds mean. but
No,
the
it's
reason
it's
why
not
I'm
mean
saying
at
that
all.
is because look at what he did as this is like his final dance, whatever you want to call it. This is is he still going to be friends with us in a month or two? When the iRkade is officially bankrupt, will Yong continue to post in the group saying, "Hey, everybody, my friend"? Or is he going to move on to the next project where he gets funding?
Next
and
family.
then tries to get another product out to the door, and he'll move on. I don't think he's our friend at all. He's a business guy that's not very good at his job. He's a CEO that failed. And I know he had passion to try to get profitability or to get the next series of funding, but he didn't.
God, thank you, Justin, for being honest.
Can I ask
Damn,
Justin
so
a
far,
question
too.
quick to get his opinion? I know you're trying to wrap up, but this one is kind of like it's a concern for everybody, but Justin would understand it better. With the sale of the assets, somebody else may gain control of those cabinets. and they can do things without individual users' authorization. What is your opinion on that? Is that bad for consumers?
I don't really know. It is something that I've been thinking about because it's exactly what you're thinking about. Like the community like supported Yong, right? But now it's bankrupt and now it's going to move on potentially to someone else. We don't know who it's going to be. And so are you going to support whoever this is? And the only thing value that they have right now is a platform. They have a platform with, I don't know, 10,000 users, and potentially that has value because a new person can come in and they own all of your
6,000.
Is it 6,000? Okay. Yeah. So they own all of the customers essentially, and it's potentially a new platform. And we, as a community, do we have the ability to take over that platform? And that's essentially what you're doing, Mystery Encoder, is saying now iRkade has zero value because we're going to take over the community and we will be the platform. That's not wrong or right or anything? You know what I mean? I'm not saying like what you're doing is illegal, but that is what's happening. I don't think it's actually, I don't think there's any legal case that would prevent you from doing that.
Now,
you know
here's another thing that I don't think too many of us even really thought about. When iRkade sells off those assets, those contracts have to be renegotiated. So that means, like, let's say whoever the new owner is has to come to me and say, okay, we're going to keep bowling on iRkade if you for this amount of money. And then I'll say, no, I'll keep bowling on iRkade for this amount of money, and you can either take it off or not. But that's where another thing comes in, where I don't know who's also going to come in. And even with customer data, developers could really, really, really get screwed on this one. And it goes back to what I was saying with Mystery Encoders.
So new owners could potentially
the assets are sold
and could take these assets and potentially continue the platform if they wanted to.
They could wipe your cabinet completely, clean up all the games.
They could do whatever they want with the stuff that they have in there. But they can't really sell it, and they can't.
They inherit risk too, because if Bill decided he wants to sue this new owner and say, you know what, I don't want my game being on this platform because I don't support this owner. Let's say the new owner came out and said he wasn't in support of gays or something like that. And Bill's like, man, I don't want my game being associated with a product that's doing that. And he goes, you know what? You need to go wipe my game off all those cabinets.
Yeah.
Wow.
The new owner could be forced to do that.
Now, here's the kicker with that.
Barring legal obligations or ELU or whatever, EULA or something like that. Obviously, they're able to do that and they're allowed legally because they did it already.
Yeah. Wow. Now, here's the kicker. Now, let's say they say for me, now they want to take something like Time Killers or Bloodstorm and say, hey, we're going to keep Time Killers and Bloodstorm on there, but we're only going to give you X amount of money. And I can say, no, you're not. And they're saying, well, what are you going to do about it? What if it's another developer who doesn't have somebody like ITS behind me, as support, like where it's like, okay, you want this legal battle, you got one, but what if it's somebody like Renzo, where it's like, we'll keep this there. What are you going to do about it? What about the Donut Dodo guys? What about, the Saturn guys? These guys who I guarantee you they're not making a lot of money. 6,000 cabinets, and with the sales the way they are, they're not most. I'll tell you this: I probably sold maybe 1,500 copies of Bowling on iRkade anyway, and that's not 1,500 times 5. Then we have to give that away for everything else. I have to go to the investors. I have to go to make sure the devs are paid. I might grab me something out of it, and even now with another game, I was able to buy me a bottle of Jack with it, but I can't really say this is from what it is. And then they could easily screw us out of this and take the iRkade platform and put it somewhere else. Goes back to where, all roads lead back to Mystery Encoder's idea and his whole idea of making this an open platform where, the only thing that's really protected are the developers and their games while still keeping it open. It's kind of like what we did at games, where PK had the open it up for CoinOpsX, and you could buy the games if you wanted to too. You have options, and people will buy those games, and then people will use CoinOpsX. Because why not? Got you. Yeah, it sucks that Marvel 2 will probably be on iRkade. It doesn't suck, but if somebody does it right, who cares? It's not going to be the Arcade 1-Up version, because Arcade 1-Up is the Arcade 1-Up version. All that matters is the platform is open. You can do whatever you want. And if you want to buy stuff legitimately, cool. You know, if you don't, that's cool too. But for what these products are, these are not PlayStations, these are not Xboxes. These are things that you're going to play, and they're Android platforms, so you can easily move this stuff to somewhere else. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard to get into the iRkade if you really want to get in there, and that's what it is. You know, even, there's like other games up there that I think they hid that I know for a fact were there. I don't want to talk about them right now, but I know at least 3 games, 2 of which we were working on, that aren't there. You know, and that Mr. Crowder said he didn't see them. You know, but
a couple of fighting games from couple of the fighting games, they had them on their early demos and on their fundable site.
Yeah, so
when
it's
do
like,
I?
it's there.
They were on their unreleased demos. They have them up on their
He
YouTube.
doesn't get final thoughts. Zohar doesn't get final thoughts. We took it away from him.
I'll make a video and make final thoughts. How about that?
We know you will.
Sorry, I opened this up for another discussion, but
oh no,
enjoyed
that's very good, and I'm glad you did, because that's something that we, you know, it's great because it's all informative and it's all great stuff and it's all for the community, and that's the whole point. I mean, I that's what was the whole point of doing this, to cover it in a way that would be accessible to everybody, so that they could be, you know, so that they could get some information and get some and be you know, and come away feeling like they got something out of it. So,
you know, it'd be great.
Good luck, isn't
I have some final thoughts, if I can say.
I'm going to take Zohar's time. Let me just wrap this up. I have the mic again. I think what you guys are doing are great. I support all of this. If you think about it, Plex is a great platform that originated from like hackers, like way, you know, Xbox, and then it kind of evolved and developed into a little startup, and they have tons of developers at Plex, and it's kind of this closed-ish, was opened-ish platform. But my point is wouldn't it be cool if the story of iRkade is a guy that wasn't a very good business man, sold 6,000 cabinets, built a UI platform that was horrible, no one really liked it, and then a hacker community, and I'm saying hacker in our terms, not his, comes in and takes it over, makes it 10 times better, and grows it to something that a lot of indie platformers, I'm thinking of music, the music industry. There's this hate for the music industry among musicians. They just want to be creative. They Old Man Ruckus, it's the same concept. The concept of there's a ton of indie musicians that are like, you can have my music for free. Like if I sold it to a record company, I will get nothing anyway.
Content
creators.
creators.
My brother has a record deal with a record label and has never got paid for any of the albums that he's sold because they made all the money. He didn't make any money. They funded $100,000 for the record deal, and that's all he got, was to be able to go to the studio with Rick Rubin and record all these great songs. But he never made much money off of that. And so there's this Metallica and their attitude. I'm thinking of Napster, like, and look at iTunes, like that platform became what it is because of Napster, right? Like, and maybe at a small scale, that's what Glen and Team Encoder could do, is kind of build this platform that makes it easy for consumers to use it, because there is value in that. Click it, it's good to go. Maybe this could grow outside of the iRkade. Like you could build your own arcade, use whatever open hardware, but then you're using this open platform. And maybe developers could do some type of weird license where they get paid, and there's a code on Patreon that enables the device. So the developer could get paid if he wants to charge it, and other people could do it for free. There's
a lot of options here, and that's the greatest. That's the greatest thing to come from this sheer amount of options, utilizing the whole concept of things that Team Encoder talked about, you know, using what you have, and then Glen's deck and the combination of the two and different. I mean, it all just sounds absolutely amazing. Console Kids, is there anything additional you have to add?
Off the top of my head, I think there's maybe Patreon's involved. Like if I was to figure out how to like fund this, it's like Team Encoder. If you have a Patreon, let me know. I'll start throwing $1 your way. If you start pushing out better product that's actually for the community, maybe I'd up that to more dollars, because I will support developers that are doing great things for the community. I do that now. Right, content creators, I Patreon them because doing amazing things that I enriches my life because I consume their content. And I don't know, maybe that could be the way to do it. It's a kind of this grassroots funding towards these projects. People will pay.
Yeah.
If they feel like it's a tip. Maybe that's the way to go.
Does anybody know who owns the name iRkade at this time?
Yeah, I mean, they have the copyright for iRkade. It's still good to go.
So, okay, Messiah, I come to you now. With your final thoughts, but I guess because you said that, I kind of want you to elaborate a little on what you were talking about earlier before things went off the rails a little bit. The concept of them rebranding. Could they use the name iRkade and use somehow come back, do like a revival if they wanted to, based on what they currently control?
I say yeah, because my theory is they're not. My
Your theory was that they're not bankrupt
so
anyway.
they're not.
Right.
I mean, if they want to come back with their own name that they never went away with, I don't see why they couldn't. I don't know anything like beyond the legal scopes and stuff like that, because I'm still trying to figure out. If anyone could share with me the validity of a Form D filing, Google it right now. Ignite XL growth, and add in iRkade. You're gonna pop. It's gonna pop over Attitude in iRkade, and you're gonna see a $2 million assets that were sold by the company to the investors, 52 investors back in February. To me, when I was Googling that with the .gov, that basically meant that they could have done many things with it. The usage is supposed to be usually to keep the company afloat. So this whole thing about one investor going out and stuff like that, it was just BS to me, because it was filed and they say you only have 15 days to file it when it goes through. So to me, it went through because they amended it to up it. It went from 51 investors under 2 million, then went to 52 to over 2 million. And I'm like, oh, so this guy's going to continue, and maybe he's going to do his patent thing with Glen and whatnot, cool, that's awesome. But then when I came out and I saw that they had 3 different LLCs, one's in California, one's in Chicago, and then one's in Delaware. And when I found the Delaware one, and they were behind damn near 3 years and $89,000 in taxes, it doesn't take a rocket science. I don't need to spend all that money to find out if they're in good standing or not. Because in August, as soon as August hits, they're pretty much automatically voided. Doesn't mean their company's necessarily going away or nothing like that, but their LLC is voided. Delaware is going to void it. So my personal opinion on Yong was never healthy, because when I came into the community, it was my first community for arcades. I was a shill. I enjoyed it. I showed off my wife, my kids playing it. I was in the insider group to get free demos, and then very, very toxic people, and we all know who I'm talking about.
Brad Rainwater.
Correct. Ruined that. Got in Yong's head about something, even though I was the biggest shill for the iRkade. And then ever since then, I was their Batman. I was petty, and I'm going to continue to remain petty, and that's who I am. It was just a bad thing. It was a toxic community. I supported Glen's iRkade day one. I was right on it. I was one of the #1 buyers for his control deck. I gave feedback to Gary for the iRkade. He gave me shout outs for helping him rechange the manual. So there's a lot of misinformation about people because people have an agenda. I'm friends with Bill, who they try to cite me to kick me out, even though I'm one of his #1 feedback supporters and testers for his game.
So you want to know irony?
It's bullshit.
There was so I don't know if people know about the other group, that was supposed to be the hate group. I went in there. I went in there to, initially before I had left the first time that I was like, this is a bunch of people who just want to hate on Bash. And when I went in there, it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. It was, in fact, when I was like, hey, I hear a lot of people had a problem with bowling. What do you have your issues with? I didn't hear, what you would say, stupid stuff. What I did get was, hey, when I try to do this, I go here. Here's how you recreate it. Shia went through a whole list of things, and we were talking, and then we just became friends over, over the fact that he was super honest. He was like, it wasn't about hating on what you guys were doing, and then we never really had a conversation before then. It was just like, and then when I came in, I implemented, I want to say about 90% of the feedback that led to version 2 of bowling came from that group. And it was because, a lot of people had their thoughts about what was wrong graphically, in the gameplay itself. And there was bugs that I didn't even catch or even think about. But that's where it came from. It came from the group. And they were like, this is what's wrong with it. This is how I feel like you can make it better. And that's what it was. I've seen a few videos of just attacking. It was like, oh, this sucks. Who puts rockets in bowling? I put rockets in bowling. That's what I do. That's my
And
thing.
it was the people that I have that go ahead and name them, KFB.
I don't even give a fuck anymore.
Yeah. But it was just irony to me how on one foot people are ultra shilling and being a cult, but then when it came to the actual community, so they can help it be healthy and move forward, they're the ones that were keeping it back the most. And it was his downfall because he kept listening to him. Because I have on good word from the people who were employed with them, not these guys, but the admins of the group, that they try to get rid of these people from day one. And John just would not listen.
Well, again, Messiah, I thank you for being here, man. A lot of the stuff that you said, connecting the dots really, really made sense. Appreciate you being here. It's always a pleasure. You guys, all of you guys, this has been wonderful. I don't know if King Creole is still.
That's all the time we have for today. See you guys later.
What? I waited. Wait. I got notes. I just want to
make sure. I just want to make sure that King Creole. Are you still here, King Creole? Because I didn't skip you, but
he got that rum in him, man. You can skip him.
All right, I didn't know what he was doing.
King Creole's watching to make sure I'm not saying anything that I'm not supposed to say.
All right. Well, then to wrap it up, we'll let KonsoleFanboy give his final thoughts, and then we'll be out of here.
Jesus Christ! First and foremost,
I'm muting my camera because I can't.
Yeah, I know you are.
All right, everybody log out.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I hate everybody so much. First and foremost, Heavy Metal Titan sucks. Okay, let's just get that out of the way so we don't have to talk about it anymore. Home arcade is not. The home arcade community is not dying. It's not dying. It's not dying because it's already dead. Okay, let's be real. It's over, and I don't have a problem. Okay, just agree to disagree. I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with the iRkade. I really don't. I have a problem with the iRkade community that is absolutely, unequivocally incapable of taking any type of negative feedback whatsoever, whether it's about their products or their games. I had the iRkade 3 times, okay? I had it, sold it because I was promised bangers, quote unquote, never happened. Bought it again, was promised online gaming, tried out the online gaming. It was horrendously, horrifically awful. Third time I bought it, I was promised the UI would get fixed. Still, to this day, 2 years later, no UI. So I don't really have a problem with the iRkade because I bought it so many times. It's just the empty promises were just very frustrating and very annoying. And what really set it off for me was the toxic community. If it wasn't for the toxic community that represented the iRkade, I would be fine with the iRkade. Even with all the flaws, it would be fine. It's just what the cabinet was associated with, who it was associated with. Hold on, I'm almost done. God damn it!
You don't have to say an entire community is horrible when you're only really talking about.
You want me to name names?
Yes.
It's Jeff Rainwater. It's Papa Brad. It's Nix. It's Steps. Okay. It's Brooklyn Menace. It's Kevgrad. It's Rexer. It's the entire iRkade community that have hidden agendas. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I just want to leave it off of this. This is what I just want to leave it with this. Don't have a problem with the iRkade. I have a problem with the community, and the iRkade is dead. Let the iRkade community die along with it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I
All
have
right.
to say.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you all for watching. This has been a great live stream, a wonderful eye opener. Console Kits, I'm going to have to get with you, man. I got to get you on one of my upcoming late night Q&A streams. In fact, all of you guys are all great. You guys all added so much, especially you, Messiah. Oh my God, man, you're the connective tissue that we're talking about here. But again, thank you, everybody, and let me go ahead and end it. Good night, everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed the stream. And one last thing, we're not a hate group. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.